This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Mason, I have a quiz for you, a pre-podcast quiz, but it's also an ad. It's two things.
Huh.
Are you ready?
Well, I love ads, and I'm very anxious about quizzes, so let's see how this goes, hey?
Great. Okay.
Could end in tears, but all right.
We're talking about a loot crate.
Love Loot Crate. Okay, less tears.
Okay, good. How many items are in a loot crate?
6 to 8.
Very good. How much is it?
It's cheap, whatever the price is.
Less than $20
I was going
a
to say
month.
less than $20. That's
50%
what I guess.
is still a pass.
Thank you, good.
Well,
Anxiety rising, but continues.
So what do you get with the loot crate, though? What else?
Bloody epic geek items
That's
is what
right.
you get. Yeah.
You might get a T-shirt. You might get a collectible. You might get you will get a pin.
Yep, I've got a pin and a T-shirt.
You might
and
get a
collectible.
comic book.
Yeah.
You got last month's crate.
I'm having a lark.
Man, I tell you what, good thing I'm not doing this quiz, otherwise I'd be in real trouble.
Exactly. Tables have turned. It's animation was last month's theme.
Right, yeah.
And there's bloody heaps of stuff. I got a Ninja Turtles t-shirt. They're in the turtle van at the bottom. I'm bloody loving it. I'll wear that tomorrow probably.
No.
I've got a little Rick and Morty. It's bloody Rick. Look what he's doing to you specifically. He's giving you the double bird. How about that? That's pretty great.
That's great.
I got a stubby holder, a can,
Slurm.
cozy. It's a Slurm one. I bloody love it. I've got here 25 recipes from the Bob's Burgers cookbook. I've been watching Bob's Burgers.
I've been meaning to watch that.
It's great.
Forever. Yeah.
Actual recipes.
Ah, very good.
Including vegetarian options. How do you like that? You bold
Can I see
humanitarian, you.
that Rick figurine?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I could catch, but I dropped it. That's great. Mason, next month though, get this. Get ready for
I'm ready.
Get ready for it.
I'm rubbing me
As soon
little
as I find
hands. I'm rubbing me dirty little hands in expectation.
August theme is Kingdom.
Ooh.
So it's going to have items from Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
Not The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. Just so
okay,
we're clear.
that's probably the best.
Adventure Time. You ever seen it?
Yeah, I like
It's very
Adventure
funny.
Time.
And The Legend of Zelda, which everybody loves. It says the best game of all time, which I've never played. But that's probably exciting for 90% of the people who listen to this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And infuriating for the remaining 10% who are like, why haven't you played it yet, you pricks? We'd have no time for anything else.
We don't. We're too busy answering quizzes we set each other. We do a lot of these in our private life as well.
That's right, yes.
One lucky subscriber will also win the mega crate of serious epic proportions. Most of the time they've got like a game console. It's just like a...
Yeah, there's usually like a PS4 in there or something.
Something like that, yeah. You got until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. When the cutoff happens, it's all over. If you go to lootcrate.com/weeklyplanet and enter promo code weeklyplanet, you get $3 off any new subscription because they do loot gaming, they do loot pets, they
And
do
it's
loot
less than
wear.
$20 a box. Did you know that?
You don't
It's
say.
a little, and so that's even less. How good's that? It's a little fact I picked up.
Little
through
fact.
You're lucky that I picked all this information up through osmosis because normally I do the ad and I don't think about it. So you're lucky I know that it's 6 to 8 geek items.
Maybe you're like a Rain Man style genius. I mean, you're not, clearly, because you got one of them wrong. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's lootcrate.com/weeklyplanet.
Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, official podcast of comicbookmovie.com.
Good start, no pressure.
Movies, comics, TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me, as always, my co-host, Nick Mason.
I'm
Welcome.
uncomfortable because I'm facing the wrong direction. I always want to be able to see the door just in case somebody...
Because of that big spider.
Not really.
Yeah, well, your seat is actually taken this week.
Mm-hmm.
You seem very uncomfortable, very unhappy. We've actually got a Charlie Clausen from TOFOP.
A Charlie Clausen?
Did I say a Charlie
It
Clausen?
sounded like you said a Charlie Clausen.
The Charlie Clausen
that's
from
better.
TOFOP.
I probably am. No, there is another Charlie Clausen. There was this kid called Charlie Clausen who would troll me on Instagram
Oh, no.
for like a year. Every time I would post something, he would post in the comments, #same. And, and it was one of those things where I just should have let it slide. But for some reason, I don't know, maybe I was hungover one day, it was really bugging me.
Yeah.
And so I direct messaged him and said, look, mate, it's been a year of #same.
Please.
It's not fun anymore. And then one of his mates commented, like he must have gone and cried to one of his friends. He was about 12. Or
Yeah,
something.
right. Is he Australian?
I think American.
Right, yeah.
Because then his mate had to go up me and was like, you know, you a big shot celebrity like you shouldn't be like beating up on kids like this. And I'm like, well, I'm not a big shot celebrity.
That guy did that for a year, though. Like
Yeah.
that's a long time.
I mean, that qualifies as trolling, right?
think
#same.
I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not offensive.
No.
It's just fucking annoying.
Is he,
annoying, yeah.
who has the name of the two of you? Who is Charlie Clausen? Like on Instagram?
We're both, I'm Charlie _Clausen.
Okay.
He's Charlie Clausen.
good.
One word.
okay,
Oh,
gotcha.
okay,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
I was not confident enough that I would get Charlie Clausen just straight.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I threw in the underscore because I was like, there's no way
Yeah, sure.
I'll get it. But I was foolish. It was sitting there the entire time.
I'm always envious of the organizational powers of anyone where all their social media has the same handle on it.
Yeah, right.
Like that every time there's a new Snapchat or a new Instagram,
yeah.
they get the name. And
You
I'm
got to
like,
have something unique, or you got to be in early, and I'm none of those things.
We had someone squat on TOFOP for
Right, yeah.
Twitter.
yeah.
And we went back and forth, and then I trolled them for about a year until until they gave it up.
They went, listen, mate, that's enough, and you cried to Will.
Hashtag not the same.
Not the same.
How'd you get it? Did they give it up?
Yeah, he just abandoned it, I think.
Really?
I just sort of, he wasn't trying to charge money or anything. He was just sitting on it and wouldn't give it up. I don't know what he was planning on doing with it.
TOFOP didn't stand for something else. He wasn't Johnny
Oh,
TOFOP.
actually, I never thought of that. Maybe he had his own business idea that I just bullied him out of.
As soon as I get this seed money together, I'm going to open TOFOP cakes, and it's going to be so. Oh,
Some
all
guy
right.
from Australia keeps harassing me.
30-odd foot of pastry.
It's probably Russell Crowe.
Probably was. But look, you're from the world of podcasting, obviously, but that's not your only endeavor.
Yes.
You're a famous actor, man.
Wow, yeah, relatively speaking.
Well, you're in a new international series,
Yes.
Wolf Creek Season 2, which is coming out. I watched Season 1 like a month ago.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of the Wolf Creek
I
series.
did too. I just started watching Series 1 last week with my wife. And in the
Wait, you hadn't seen... You're in it, but you hadn't seen...
I hadn't seen the first series. I'd seen the first two films, but I hadn't seen the first series because
Yeah.
they're not connected. I don't think. Maybe.
No, I mean...
apart from
the John Jarrett
John
character.
Jarrett.
Yeah.
But the first 10 minutes of Series 1 is so violent.
Yeah,
like
it's
my wife
crazy,
and I
yeah.
actually like, whoa, I don't know if I can watch this, and I'm in it.
right.
I was like, this is full on.
So for those who don't know, it's directed by Greg McLean, who's made Rogue, the one about the killer crocodile,
I remember
which
it.
I really like, which most people don't like.
Michael Vartan
Michael-
is in it.
That's
Michael
right.
Vartan, alias is Michael Vartan.
Yeah.
That's right. He did Balco
The
Experiment.
man who I think slept with half of Melbourne while he was here filming that. I know so many
seems like-
girls who had sex with him. Like, it was bizarre. It was like he just came to town and impregnated the entire city.
That's amazing. Good bloke?
Yeah, it seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Likes
tiny little-
dogs. I remember he came around to my house one day and played with my dog, and he seemed quite nice. Then he tried to make out with me. No, that's not true. Michael Vartan, hashtag dog kisser.
Harass him for a year. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so he's like, I love Greg McLean's work. Like, Balco Experiment I actually haven't seen. It's
good.
Written by James Gunn as well.
Yeah, I went to the screening of that in LA where
Yeah.
James Gunn was there. They did a Q&A afterwards, and if anyone hasn't seen Belka, the best way I could sort of say, it's like an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
It's got that same kind of like hard edge, sort of tech focused satire to it, but it's a fun, gory kind of romp. Like
Yeah.
that's the nature of it. But then the Q&A afterwards, the guy who was emceeing it decided to ask the most hard-hitting question about like gun control in America.
Yeah, sure, right.
After like an audience full of horror fans have just been cheering like exploding heads and
Yeah,
stuff for like
nice.
the last 2 hours, it's like, way to not pick a fucking
Yeah,
crowd.
this is not what this is.
Yeah.
Like, this is not your forum. But so that's coming out October?
It's actually screening. Well, there's a screening happening now at Melbourne Film Festival for anyone who's in town. I think.
Right, yeah.
One
Oh,
of the
sorry.
nights
I was thinking I didn't.
Sorry, you're talking about Balka?
Yeah, I meant Wolf Creek.
Oh.
Is that what are you talking
No,
about?
I
What am I
thought
talking
about
about? Right, okay.
Things move fast here. We're gotta keep it moving. There's no time to talk about one thing. We've got to sort of talk about another thing. Let's do this.
So Wolf Creek, the series, when is it coming out?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think it's coming out till next year.
Okay, right,
I
yeah.
don't know. The rumor I heard was January next year,
Yeah.
or at least they're having a launch in January next
Yeah.
year. I doubt they'll have enough time to get it ready by
Yeah,
the
that's
end of
actually a
this
really
year.
good point.
How much can you tell us about your character?
Are you murdered? Are you murdered horribly?
I can tell you that I'm an American.
Accents.
Yeah, which is
Very
great.
good.
Which has been really, really good. It's one of the.
It's a tour bus, isn't it? That's what I read about it.
Yeah, so it's a busload of passengers in the outback, and you can probably guess.
We should basically point out that the killer in Wolf Creek is played by Australia's John Jarrett, who used to host Better Homes and Gardens.
Yeah, and I worked with John Jarrett on McLeod's Daughters
Oh, right,
years
yeah.
ago as well.
Because you've been in like every Australian TV series. Have you been in Neighbours and Home and Away?
Yep, done them
Not
both.
many
double.
people have done that.
Yeah,
Is
from
that-
Erinsborough to Summer Bay.
Yeah.
That's the title of my autobiography.
But
Mount Thomas. Spent some time in Mount
That's
Thomas.
right,
very
acting
good.
sergeant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But so he's like deranged Crocodile Dundee, which I
Yeah.
think is a great idea for a killer. The only thing I don't like about him, well, aside from all the murdering, is that the way he gets away. I'm like, this fucking he's always stabbing people.
One
getting
step
away.
out of the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Greg. I've known Greg for like 20 years. I remember he initially got Rogue up first. That film was meant to happen first. And then he had this horrible experience where he was fired off his own film where, you know, they bought the script, he was attached, and they fired him off it and tried to, you know, bring in another director, but then it fell apart. So Greg was like, I'm just going to go write something that I can shoot really cheaply, minimal characters, minimal locations. And that was Wolf Creek. And John Jarratt at that time was only really known as, you know, the funny guy on McLeod's Daughters or the Better Homes and Gardens.
Yeah, with Noni Hazelhurst, who they were married to.
Greg's whole thing was he grew up in Bendigo, out in the country. He knows these kind of guys, and it's like it's that lovable larrikin image where there's like a really dark underside to that. There's like this seething hostility towards outsiders and all that kind of stuff. And it also, I think, in a purely aesthetic point of view, that image of the Akubra and the flannel and the rifle, like it looks great backlit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
totally.
it's
100%.
great for a movie poster.
And they say that about a lot of the most iconic characters. You can recognize them from just the silhouette.
Yeah.
The Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. That's it. That's all I got.
Freddy Krueger.
Yep.
Robert Smith. Or Edward Scissorhands. Could be the same person. I don't know.
Anybody with a hat.
Willy Wonka or just an English gentleman.
Yeah, that's it.
Hard to tell.
Well, look, we'll get into Wolf Creek more in a bit
Sure.
because it ties into the topic that we're doing. But are you happy if we run through a bit of the news? You've heard
Sure,
the show.
yeah,
You know
I
how
love
this
that.
works,
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah, I know.
Sweet as. So we just basically make fun of stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm down.
People have had it too good for too long. Bring him down a peg or two.
All right.
That's right. Well, speaking of Marvel's,
Oh, no.
Marvel's Inhumans, which it's going to the first couple of episodes are going to IMAX in September,
Yeah.
and then it's going to series later September.
So can you bring me up to speed? Because what is the Inhumans? Is that a comic?
Yeah, so
book?
it's like X-Men. It's the X-Men knockoffs that Marvel are pushing because they don't own the rights.
Are
to the
they in
X-Men.
the universe of the X-Men?
Yes, they are,
but they've
yeah.
been around for what? How long? You know this.
Oh, many decades, but they're essentially
So specific.
Yeah, many they're many decades, and they're a bunch of interesting characters. Now they're like
tell them if you're Michael.
they're like an offshoot of humanity who live on the moon, but they all have mutant abilities. And there's Medusa who has sort of prehensile hair, and there's Black Bolt who can't speak because his voice can knock down a mountain and etc.
Right.
And it's kind of
Teleporting dog.
there's a teleporting dog called Lockjaw, and so they essentially they have similar enough powers that you can go, okay, we can't use the X-Men, we'll just bring in the Inhumans.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of
Bilo.
they're
X-Men.
Bilo
Yeah.
X-Men, exactly.
Off-brand.
Yeah. When I was a kid, you could get G.I. Joe. You could also get the Core, who were like the knockoffs you could just buy at Safeway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So they're the Core.
Yeah, they're not quite as compelling, and well, depending on who you talk to, but they're not. But this is the first review of the series. Simply awful.
Too good for too long.
I'm so disappointed since I generally love everything Marvel does, but this is absolutely terrible. The dialogue is atrocious. The fight sequences are shockingly choreographed. The sets, or more so the obvious green screen, aren't that crash hot either. Its only saving grace is Lockjaw, who is adorable, teleporting dog.
Right.
And as one of the few people who actually like Iron Fist, I can easily say that this is Scott Buck's worst work yet.
Who's Scott
He
Buck?
did Dexter, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But
He's a showrunner.
He's a showrunner who
Yeah.
also did Iron Fist, which
Yeah.
Is the teleporting dog Lockjaw CGI or
Yes.
actual
Yes.
dog?
And it looks okay from the trailers.
it's also novelty sized. It's like
Oh, yeah, it's like-
the
right.
size
It's
of
like,
a
yeah,
small
big.
car.
Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah.
Cujo.
Yeah. Look, I don't think anybody's surprised by this. If you've seen any of the trailers, it's just flat lighting, generic sets. It looks cheap because it's the guy who runs Marvel Television, Ike Perlmutter, is like notoriously frugal.
Right.
But he's been trying to push this for years. Like it was supposed to be a movie with Vin Diesel, which never happened. So this is what we're getting, and apparently,
Well, that's probably for the best, really.
yeah, that's right, exactly.
we,
So
we can thank God for that.
yeah, I don't think anybody's surprised or disappointed. But hey, maybe it isn't. This is the first review. You never know.
But okay, so why is that first review valid? Is it of someone of note or is it?
I didn't write it down. I thought about it, but then I went, no one's going to ask.
Yeah, it's probably some
Mason wouldn't ask.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask. I don't. It's probably some jerk off the internet. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
So when you
It's the same guy who hashtag samed me. I bet you.
yeah, that's right. When you make a TV series or a movie,
Yeah.
because when we go to like a Marvel movie or we watch a Wolf Creek or what have you, we see the finished product and we go, okay, this is great. It's got good effects and sets and props and casting and script and whatever. But when you go and you're with a work, you were sort of making a work in progress. Do you ever go into a movie or a TV show and be like, I don't know what this is going to be? Like you go in and there's green screen and there's stuff that isn't finished and
I've never really worked a lot with that kind of stuff. I haven't really done a lot of with visual effects. I did. There was an episode of Blue Healers.
Here we go. See, there we go.
This is early 2000s Australian CGI.
Yeah.
Very excited.
No, I don't think it was CGI. It's more like compositing.
Right,
Because
okay.
the plot line, a lion had escaped from the zoo, and I had to like.
This is zoo
In Mount Thomas.
Mount
Of
Thomas?
course there is,
Yeah,
mate.
you're
It's
right.
a
What
it's a
am I
major
doing?
country metropolitan area. And so I had to hunt down this lion, and and I remember at the time, like they couldn't actually get a lion on set. They didn't have the budget for it, so they went and shot through the bars of a zoo an actual lion,
Gorilla
and it
style.
did not match it didn't match the paddock we were shooting in.
Yep.
And then I was meant to come around the corner, find this lion, see it's injured, and be okay. Well, it's a mercy killing. I'll put it out of its misery. And so they told me, yeah, when you come around the corner, just aim the gun, fire it. And then when we do the reverse of the line, we'll comp that in later. It's going to look seamless.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
like, all right, let's see what this looks
Yeah.
like. Wasn't seamless.
what?
It literally looked like in the early 80s, late 70s, when the compositing would have like an outline.
Right,
around it.
man.
And they also put some like CGI blood.
That's
Oh,
great.
great.
You can probably find it on YouTube, but it was terrible.
It's just some blood out of Mortal Kombat. It's those big red globs.
Sprites. Yeah. Oh, that's incredible.
yeah.
Yeah. So Wolf Creek's more kind of blood bags and severed heads and shit like that, I assume.
I think it's a mix.
Okay,
it's
yeah.
a mix. There's a lot of prosthetics, but then I think they, it's so much easier, and there's like plugins for stuff like muzzle flash.
Yeah,
and
right.
Exactly.
Blood
Yeah.
spurt. I mean, you saw the last Expendables, right? Where it was.
Boy, did I.
Yeah. Yeah, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
I think if you use it to accent an effect, a
Yeah.
practical effect, it can be really good. But if you're relying on it, then looks like
It
Sharknado.
never looks good.
Yeah.
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 Or it can not look good. Did you guys watch the Deathwish trailer with Bruce Willis?
No, I saw the thumbnail.
Eli
Does
Roth.
that count?
That's good enough for me.
Great.
I didn't think it looked that bad, but I'm not a fan of. I've never seen Deathwish.
I understand there's been a bit of a backlash,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you can't replace Charles Bronson.
You certainly. Well, that's true. The guy who said he lost his virginity when he was 7 or something. I don't
Yeah,
think
was
it's possible.
Didn't he have one of those kind of like Ernest Hemingway type like existences where he's like bare knuckle boxing,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
hard drinking at 14,
Yeah,
and-
Riverboat gambling, all that sort of stuff.
He's also one of those guys where he probably doesn't know what year he was born.
like your dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. Look, I'm not incredibly upset about it, but it does at least look. I should have asked you guys to watch it. I should have mentioned this, but it does sort of look like Bruce Willis is trying a little bit because
that's
he's
nice.
been phoning it in for.
For so long.
Yeah.
Does he grow the Charles Bronson ratty little mustache?
No, he does. It's just,
Oh, that's disappointing.
It's standard.
Don't you
Bruce
reckon
Willis.
that dude from Narcos looks like Charles Bronson?
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Pina?
the guy from Game of Thrones as well.
Yeah.
that dude? Yeah.
The,
like
the
a young,
Viper, whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
The
Yeah.
actor whose name we cannot remember.
Yeah.
but he looks
Pedro
a lot-
Pascal.
Famous that guy.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal.
Sure.
Yeah.
That sounds about
I
right.
remember last time we brought him up, I had to look him up, but I'm not going to do it this time. I'm going to back myself. It might not be his name. Yeah. Game of Thrones though.
Yeah.
1.5, sorry, got to get it right. Terabytes of data have been stolen from HBO, including like future scripts and whatnot. And in a separate leak, Star India leaked today's episode. So when you're hearing this,
What's Star India?
I don't know. I guess like their Netflix, the way we have Stan. I guess
right,
I assume.
right.
I don't know. Yeah, you a Game of Thrones guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Game of Thrones guy, but it is a show that I don't know what's going on ever. Like,
Like you, Mason.
Yeah.
I
But
like-
also, I don't like it.
Right.
Two things.
I mean, I have come and like I like the first few seasons. The last couple of seasons, I must admit, I drift in and out. There's just some
Yeah.
storylines I do not give a shit about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like Captain Friendzone and being in love with Queen, whatever,
Yeah.
the dragon lady. And I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
You're
my
a
wife
big
and I,
fan.
we do not know what the character's called. I know there's the short guy. Is he, what's his name? Dinklage.
Yeah.
That guy.
The station agent. We know him.
But I mean, we even watched the recap because we were away for a couple of weeks. So we had 3 in the bank. And so we watched the recap of season 6 before we watched this.
Right, yeah.
And even then I'm like, I still don't know what's going on. I don't
Yeah.
know who these people are. The geography doesn't make sense to me.
The map is I still find confusing.
Yeah.
The clockwork map. Yeah.
But I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the production. It's impressive to see what TV has become.
It's like 10 million an episode or something. It's insane.
yeah, the
Yeah.
first episode, I remember just being like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what has happened? How has TV got this good?
Yeah. It's a real jump, and a lot of shows have started to catch up.
I mean, what are they spending per episode? Do you know?
No, it's 10 million an episode. It was 10 million for the first season, and now it's 10 million an episode. And it shows because it used to be like, oh, we'll do a big explosion in episode 9, so everything else has to be in corridors and whatever.
I'd love to know too, like you're talking about CGI.
Yeah.
I'd love to see behind the scenes, like how many of those sets, like how much of that is practical and how much
A
is...
lot of it is practical.
Really?
They shoot all over the world. They've got like 6 sets happening at locations. What's the word? You're an actor.
What do you mean? I don't know.
Places where they're happening.
Locations.
Yeah, locations. Yeah.
Sets.
Even in the non-acting
locations.
world, they're called locations.
Yeah.
If you go somewhere, it's still a location.
That's true. That's true. It's not a film specific term.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, it's insane. And they're talking about they're going to do a prequel series when it's done with different people or whatever.
So anyway, you're saying that how many terabytes of...
1.5.
And is that out there on the internet? Can we just
get it? Yeah, you can
it?
look them up and you can get... I haven't downloaded the episode because it's apparently it's not great quality. So I'm happy to watch.
And you got to wait less than 24 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Well, I think it's been out since Friday. So what day is it now? I don't know. Yeah, but hey.
So the future scripts and things is interesting. Like, are we Russia? Are we looking at you? Russia?
Could be
what have you been
Russia.
doing lately?
I think it's
They're going to bring down Western democracy by releasing Game of Thrones scripts early.
It's one of those edgy hacker groups who I love if you're listening.
Yeah.
Where they're
Please don't shut down my site.
where they're like, we're the new generation and this is anarchy and
Oh my
whatever.
God.
Yeah.
So no, you can't see, but James just did a really scary kind of like
I did the thing with-
vendetta kind of
Yeah.
like face.
I did the campfire torch thing.
Yeah.
He looked mad.
Yeah. But hey, look, I don't really like. Just don't do this. I guess just don't.
Yeah, but also like if you're the new generation and you want to make like significant change in the world, 1.5 terabytes of data from the Game of Thrones production office, it's pretty small fry.
Isn't it though? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't understand why all these guys, because I know Disney does it with Marvel and Star Wars, just use closed networks. What's the acting word for that? No. You know what I mean?
Intranet.
Intranet. Yeah, exactly. But hey, you'd think they would. Do you guys like Transformers?
No.
It depends where the rest of the sentence is going, I
Okay,
guess.
there's a new animated Transformers film,
Ooh.
like there was in the 80s.
As long as it's got the touch.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're on
I'm
board?
in.
Okay, but it's set in the new continuity of the Michael Bay-verse.
I don't know. I checked
yeah,
out of those
no.
films. Will and I, we did a long discussion about one of the Transformers. I think it was the second one. Because
Yeah.
the first one, I was like, nah, okay.
It's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
But the second one, when there's Transformer Heaven, you know, like
Yeah,
someone
same,
dies and goes to robot heaven
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
they're standing on clouds and I'm like, why do they need clouds in robot heaven? Like they don't rely on H2O at all. Like, it was, like it really confused me. And then you find out that because I think it was during the writer's strike or something, and they literally
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
just started shooting and were like, doesn't matter, just shoot something, we'll comp it in later.
Shoot some
Yeah.
clouds.
We'll put a line in there with some
Yeah.
fake blood to look amazing.
Some franchises have recovered, but some franchises have never recovered from the
Yeah.
writer's strike,
Like
from
Bond
2008 or whatever.
Bond bounced back. 'cause
Yeah,
they-
right. Mhm.
It would have been
Scorsese
awesome.
went
Have you read that George Miller's Justice League script?
I have.
Yep.
We've got a video on it where we talk about it.
I mean,
somewhere, yeah.
goofy, right? Like
Yeah,
the
right.
opening
Yeah.
scene, all the superheroes in costume at a funeral. Like,
Oh, man.
I just love the idea of seeing like all
I
those
would've
guys
loved to
sitting
seen
in
that.
pews in like
Yeah.
full costume. It's like there's a scene in Batman Forever which always makes me laugh, where it's just they're showing a bit of newsreel footage, and it's Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face, where
Yep.
Tommy Lee Jones gets acid, and then they cut to the crowd, and Batman is leaping from the chairs in full Batman.
That's
gear,
right, yeah.
Which suggests up until that point he'd been sitting there quietly watching the trial unfold before leaping from his seat to try and stop it.
That's right, I forgot that. That's very 1960s Batman will hold like a press conference or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. Anyway, new Transformers films. Fine.
Animated.
Well, yeah, Michael Bay's out, so
What
whatever.
style? I mean, I assume it's going to be like 3D animation.
I guess so, yeah.
Because Beast Wars was.
Yeah, that was one of the early
Yeah.
3D. It's no good. People love it. It's no good. Probably. I don't remember. TV news, sort of. The Dark Tower came out. Not
Ugh.
here. Apparently it's fine or really bad, depending on who you
I
talk
think
to.
really bad seems to be the predominant narrative.
93 minutes, which is
That's always a bad
crazy
sign,
short,
yeah. Yeah.
But they're still going to move forward with it. Mason, you'll love this because you're a fan of the Dark Tower TV series with showrunner Glenn Mazzara, who I will now look up while you say a thing about that. Oh, he did Walking Dead. He was on Walking Dead for a bit. Yeah.
Well, I'm not a fan of any of those things, but thank you for throwing me under the bus there. That's good. Yeah. Well, something I did, it didn't occur to me until recently is that the reason they cut a film down to 93 minutes or 87 minutes is because it's so bad. They're just like, okay, but if we do 10 showings a day, like if we can make it so short, we can do 10 showings a day, we can recoup some of our investment before people realize that it's terrible.
Yeah. And it was only like a $60 million budget, which sounds crazy only,
Yeah.
but Yeah, but apparently just no. Are you a fan?
I've tried to read The Dark Tower a couple of times, and I can't get into it. Like, it's just, I like Stephen King, but I don't know. The world didn't speak to me. I was getting confused. I didn't understand why zombies and cowboys and I don't know what the fuck's going on. And towers.
Yeah. Which is a shame because Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, I
alone,
thought I would watch them do anything on screen together.
And apparently they're like not the problem.
The trailer is awful though.
Yeah, it's not
like
great,
it's one of those films.
There's a kid in it?
Talk about the most generic looking. It's almost underworld style action,
Isn't it though? Yeah.
I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, how great's that bit where he reloads his gun in midair?" I'm like, "No, it's not. It looks shit. It's dumb. Don't do it."
Look, would I watch a free effects reel on YouTube of somebody reloading their gun a whole bunch of different ways?
Yeah.
Of course I would, but I wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus. But anyway, I would be surprised if this goes forward. Like, because the idea was Ron Howard was going to do it. A few people have been on it. And then they're going to do a spin-off TV series. It's going to be this whole dark universe. Been talking about it for like 10 years, but I think this is it. I think they've killed this forever for at least another 2 decades. Yeah.
No, they'll reboot it in 2 years' time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What have we got? Last bit of news. This ties into our topic. Very exciting. William Zabka and Ralph Macchio
I know where this is going.
will return in a Karate Kid sequel TV series on YouTube Red.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's great. Really great idea.
Yeah.
That's one you can get behind.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fan of this kind of fan service reboot thing. Force Awakens. Hey, this scene, remember this, this character? And shut up, just tell a story. Like, I don't need this constant kind of references. Take those old guys. Like, I am refusing to watch the new Twin Peaks, and everyone's like shouting me down because I love the first Twin Peaks series. The second one's garbage.
Yeah.
And then I watched a trailer for this new one, or a 30-minute preview, and it's all the old characters back. And it's why didn't you just bring in the new generation? So Dale Cooper's mentoring some new FBI agent who's dealing with strange goings. That to me is interesting, but I don't know, man. Like, this I can get behind.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like it when they bring, like, I think Harrison Ford worked well, and I'm glad he's kind of out of Force Awakens, spoiler alert, because now they can tell those new stories. It's been 2 years.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, but this, I really like the idea of this, and
do they have it? Do they any? What?
I got a synopsis.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Following a down on his luck Johnny, after getting kicked in the face, never recovered 30 years ago.
And then in the car park in the sequel.
In 2, yeah.
Like his coach was yelling at him and stuff before he punched out a couple windows.
That's right, exactly. That was filmed during the first one, and they just plugged it into the second one. Yeah. He reopens the Cobra Kai dojo.
So it's focused on Johnny?
No, not just. Reigniting his karate-fueled feud with the now successful Daniel Macchio, who was struggling to maintain balance in his life without Miyagi, who we know is dead in real life. Pat Morita's dead. So,
but not in the show. We're bringing him back with CGI.
CGI.
Why wouldn't
CGI
we?
dog.
That's right, exactly.
Teleporting dog.
Yeah. No, I'm well into this. Like 10 years ago, I'd be like, why? But now I'm like,
there's a great music video. I don't know who the band is, but the song's
Alien
called
Ant Farm.
Smooth
Sweep the
Criminals.
Leg. No, there's a song called Sweep the Leg, which is, it's all the Cobra Kai now. Like, it's shot about 5 years ago. But the premise being that Johnny is living in a trailer park. His life fell apart after that contest. And that him and the other Cobra, and he just is dreaming about, his redemption. It's I think it was directed by William Zabka as well. It's actually really funny. I would love it if it is in the style of that. Or what I would love is that he comes back to, be this karate guy. But we live in the world of UFC now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You put one of those karate guys up against a UFC guy, you'll get killed.
Yeah, he goes for the crane and then he just gets grabbed by the leg and twisted into a pretzel, I like the idea that William Zabka's like, maybe he just goes around to every band and he's like, hey, you guys want to make a music video. What if it's me and I'm rebuilding my life,
Yeah, he plays a bit of a role as himself in How I Met Your Mother as well. Because he's Barney's favourite hero from the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a great cameo in Hot Tub Time
He does, yeah. I watched that the other day.
Because he's the biggest douche of that era.
Yes.
Like him and Walter Peck from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, right. The A guy, yeah.
Like, they just were the two douchiest guys in cinema from 1983 to 1987.
They would have got so much shit in the street. Yeah.
Well, William Zabka maybe because he was young and good looking, but definitely dickless William Atherton probably would have.
If he's alive, he still gets that.
Oh, of course. Hashtag dickless.
Yeah, but look, maybe they'll bring back Hilary Swank because that's in that universe.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So,
I'd love that.
I'd be surprised, but I didn't like the reboot the Jaden Smith one.
Didn't say it.
It's
nonsensical. It's
makes no
learning
sense.
kung fu.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah. Mm.
but Jackie Chan actually is really good in that movie, and he
Okay.
beats up like a group of kids.
Did you guys talk about this on your show? The Jackie Chan Taken film.
The new one.
It's
That's
a new
coming
one.
out?
It's it's sad Jackie Chan. Sad Jackie Chan going around killing people.
That's what you got to do when you mature to a certain age. Van Damme did it.
yeah, right.
That's
of
true, yeah.
course.
Yeah. I'll definitely
Do
watch
you guys
that.
get those Ultra Tune ads down here with Van Damme?
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I've seen they come up on stuff every now and then. Yeah.
You got to watch them.
That
They're
guy's
bizarre.
face is just
But the whole thing,
90% cocaine.
the whole ad is so strange. Like there's this really strange thread of like sexual assault at the start of it with these girls walking to their car, and then
That's
Van
every
Damme
Ultra Tune
turns
ad, I
up
think,
and,
yeah.
And then they want to take photos. But the weirdest part is at the very end, he does this like address to camera, like, you know, Ultra Tune, always there for you or something. And he does this like
Stop and rapes.
He does
Ultra Tune, yeah.
He does this lame ass like high kick, but the voiceover was obviously done much later. And I think he was coming down off one of his benders because he's just like, Ultra Tune will be there when you need it, which does not match the high kicking, smiling guy on screen.
Yeah, right.
Like every time Will and I see it, we're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Man, that guy would do anything. Yeah. Well, he had a resurgence, and then he just went.
Well, he
made
had
whatever.
JCVD,
Yeah.
and then
They tricked us into thinking we liked him more than we
yeah,
did.
exactly right.
I've
yeah.
never seen it. I watched that monologue. What's the acting? No, yeah, but that he does, which is
Yeah, right,
amazing.
uh-huh.
Where he's like, "Why have I done everything? I hate myself." Anyway, good on
There's
him.
a story about him and a news...
Quatermain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't going to name him, but it's sure.
Fuck it, I don't know him. You might know him.
No, I don't. Yeah. Apparently years ago when JCVD was in Australia, he cracked onto Steve Quatermain's wife. And Steve
right.
Quatermain was like, mate, I'll destroy you.
Because
You're 4 foot
Quatermain's like enormous, isn't
and
he? Yeah.
JCVD is like 4'2".
Yeah, right.
And
He's a ballet dancer,
Exactly. I was going to
essentially.
say, yeah. I mean, he could definitely beat me up, but not Quatermain.
So what kind of like YouTube Red?
Yeah.
What kind of production values are we talking?
You
What's
know-
come out from YouTube
well,
Red?
it's a lot of like the YouTube stars are stuck in a video game, and they got to.
Don't you think that YouTube Red was a poorly calculated
Yes.
business name?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Just anything
Tube-
you were going to say.
Tube Red.
after
Yeah,
Paulie.
exactly, yeah.
Like, I mean, every time you say it, I'm like, I have to think about what are we talking about? No,
Yeah.
that's right.
yeah. No, look, the only reason I would get it is because it's ad free,
Right.
and you can also stream music with your phone locked. But also I have Spotify now, so
I tried YouTube Red for a while.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is annoying.
You didn't like any of the YouTube exclusive YouTube stars getting trapped in the internet, and battling an alien virus or something.
No,
No, not a fan.
no fan. I did I cheekily checked out one day before the end of my
Very
1 month
nice,
free
good,
trial.
yeah.
Done, yeah.
Let me maximize that stuff I didn't use.
Well, as a YouTuber, I do not support that. No, fuck it all. All right. Well, this leads us into our topic for this week. You're in Wolf Creek season 2.
Yes.
But we thought, what a perfect opportunity to talk about that, but not only, and this is on your suggestion, movies that became TV shows, whether that was good or not good, depending on the list I've got. That's your exact
Yeah.
words, yes?
Yes, I think so. I did send you a long rambling tweet. It was like, there's a bunch of things we could do, but yeah, I mean, because I'm halfway through Fargo,
yeah.
season 2 of Fargo at the moment, which I'm loving.
Yeah.
And it's actually making me think I like it more than I like the movie.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, there's more
agree with
space
that,
to breathe,
yeah.
and there's more space to develop quirky characters.
That's
Yeah.
it. When they announced that, I was like, "What? Why would you? Why? Where do
Like,
you
what
go
a
from this?"
strange kind
Yeah.
of like inspiration for a series.
It's not like the original creators aren't. I mean, I think they're loosely attached, but it's all new creative team as far as I know. But it's
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best shows on TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you up to date on it, Mason?
No, I'm not.
I got to say your name because I learned when there's 3 people, you got to say the person's name because otherwise it's theater of the
we in
mind.
the room, we know.
Yeah, we know.
who's who.
Exactly, yeah.
Not everybody knows.
That's it. But go on. What were you saying? What was I saying? Season 3.
You
What
said,
did I
am
say?
I up to date? I said no.
And then I said,
And then it's back on you.
Oh no.
That's right.
But yeah, no, it's great. It's fantastic. I think it's TV. You'd probably agree with this. Is like it's a golden era of TV.
100%. Yeah. And it makes so much sense. Like my wife and I have a film that is with Screen Australia at the moment in development.
I want to ask you about that. Yeah.
And it's been
Now's your chance, James.
Oh shit! It's a environmental disaster.
Yes.
Things go south, and it's about a girl trying to find.
How do you know all this?
I saw an interview where you were talking to Guy Smiley, Larry Emner.
Oh, Larry
Larry
Emner.
Emner.
Yeah, that's right. Guy Smiley.
He looks like Guy
He does
Smiley.
look like Guy Smiley. Yeah, but that has been like a 7-year. I remember when we started because my wife and I had a production company for about 5 years. She went to VCA, got a master's in directing, and when she came out of film school, she couldn't really find a producer she liked. And she's like, why didn't you produce for me? And I'm like, oh, fuck, I could do it. I guess I've been on set enough. I think I know what they do. Turns out I had no idea what a producer does.
Claire's a producer. You can. It doesn't matter. You can.
Well, that is true. Anyone can be a producer. But
you can be useless as Claire, is what I'm saying. So go on.
But so we just did like a zillion music videos and short films and commercials and stuff. And then when we were like, we do this all the time. Why don't we just do something that we really like and make a film? And how hard can it be? Turns out really fucking hard.
Yeah.
So
is that from a funding perspective, from an organization?
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, with every artistic, you guys might be familiar with this. With every creative pursuit in Australia, you always run into the problem of where is the audience in Australia?
Yes.
Because there just isn't the people to sustain. Like you cannot sell an idea to anyone based on return you're going to get from Australian audiences.
Yeah,
because they're just like Australian film is in a real tricky situation at the moment because we just cannot get
unless
people
you're
in
the guy
cinemas.
who did Saw, you know.
Unless or Stan is like good for. I mean, they seem to be doing now is just turning everything into a TV show. Wake and Fright's a TV show. Wolf Creek's a TV show. Picnic at Hanging Rock's going to be a TV show.
Oh, really? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, so I think there is a way.
Still can't find the girls, guys. Where's the... Still can't find them. I don't know.
I've roped this area off.
But it just takes a long time. And also, you know, it's the most unstable. It changes. Trends change. Like you might have the greatest idea for a vampire film. And then by the time you actually get that into pre-production, 6 vampire films have come out and you've missed the boat for that.
Yeah.
Like, and to be honest, like our script has changed quite a bit, riding the waves of not just trends, but me as a writer.
Yeah, so 7 years
and my
is a long
interests.
time,
Like, you know, when I first wrote it, I was interested in, you know, different kind of films, and it was a very different kind of movie. And then as I've sort of like gotten older and matured a bit, you know, I'd say the film has matured a little bit as well. And it's just one of those things where on average they say in Australia to make your first film is between 7 and 10 years. I think Animal Kingdom took them 10 years to make.
Jesus. And there's not much to that film either.
Not
like
really.
Yeah.
And apparently, because I'm working with someone who worked on that, and they said like even, you know, 2 drafts before the shooting draft was actually significantly different.
Right, yeah.
So it's just one of those things where it requires so much energy and concentration, and because no one's going to push this thing except for you, the creative team behind it.
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
So it just requires an awful lot of energy, and it's just hard. It's just hard to get this stuff. Mate, what are we talking about?
Yeah, making stuff in
Making
Australia.
stuff, yeah,
but I
yeah.
think that goes for anywhere. I think you have to drive it yourself.
Well, in America, it's a bit different because it's more of an industry over there. Like that's the first thing you notice about LA is all the kind of stuff I do for a living and that a lot of my friends do for a living. Like I was embarrassed to tell people I was an actor for like 10 years because it just felt like not a real job.
What did they think you did?
I don't know, just rodeo clown or something.
You said rodeo clown.
I'm just sardonic for a living. But then you go over there and it's a big business. And now more than ever in the era of content, like what you realize is there's not a lot of people with good ideas out there. There's a lot of ideas out there, but it's very few people are capable of sitting down, taking an idea, putting the requisite amount of time and energy into it to turn it into something that is not only going to be profitable, but well reviewed and, you know, and seen by lots of different people.
Right.
I think TV, that's the beauty of TV now though, is like you're saying, there's just more time to
unpack it,
craft the story.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think Vince Gilligan was out in Australia last week doing a talk about how long it takes them to crack a script. And they'll stay in the writer's room and it's on average like 6 weeks, you know,
for one episode.
For one episode.
Wow.
In Australia, you get 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You were saying because you recently
There's a lion loose and we've got
Exactly. Well, I sat in on the writer's room at Home and Away.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. When I started that job, I was like, well, you know, I'm interested in writing. I want to see how this show's put together. And I remember sitting in and, you know, they map out Monday to Friday. There's 5 episodes a week. And then you've got a list of all the characters and there's like 20 characters on that show.
Yeah.
And then you've got a list of all the locations, but there's restrictions on all those things. You can't shoot at the surf club every day of the week. This actor's only available for certain days.
Yeah.
So with those restrictions, you then have to come up with 5 half-hour episodes of drama on a show that's been on air for 30 years without repeating yourself. Like it is, I was staggered by how quickly they moved. And the fact that they get anything up on air and it's barely watchable, like is amazing. Sometimes it's good. Like it's staggering. Like I remember sort of sitting there and they were brainstorming about like, okay, so this character's going to go on a Bucks weekend. Like what are some ideas for a Bucks weekend? And I was like, well, the characters are all these like macho kind of tough guys. what if the dude who books the Bucks weekend actually books them this like, they go to a health spa and it's all like
Essential
cucumbers
massage,
on their own.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, plus play against that. And they're like, great, oh, excellent. And I'm like, well, that's my first idea. But bang, no, they moved on.
Too bad, we're filming it now.
Exactly. Turn around, they're shooting behind you, right?
So is the Home and Away writers' room? Is it like people? Is it fresh faces or is it the same people for the last 20 years?
No, it's fresh faces. It's a hard job.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They run through script producers. I think the average stint is about 3 or 4 years.
Right, yeah.
And people might come back after a break, but they go insane. Like they live and breathe that show. 7 days a week because they're writing constantly.
It's off for the summer, maybe, and that's it. Is that right?
Yeah, but even then, like you're plotting.
That's like
you're
every
plotting
day
3 months in advance.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so what they'll do is the writers' room will be run by the producer with 4 writing staff in there. They'll bounce around ideas. Then it's called a beat sheet will be sent out to a writer who has 4 weeks, which is quite luxurious. 4 weeks to write a draft, and then. I mean, what I liked about working on a show like Home and Away is it was a little bit like doing co-op theatre where everyone's working so hard. You sort of have to cover each other a bit. Like the writers, know that they're going to have to give that to a director. The director gets to, do a little something with it. You give it to the cast gets a do something with it. And what you're hoping is if everyone just gives a little bit of a polish, like you'll actually make it something good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, there are some good performances on that show as well. And there's some actors on it who have been doing it for 20 odd years.
Yeah.
Who are great. Like
Raymar?
Yeah, he's an amazing actor. Like he genuinely is.
He was in Breaker Morant.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Which is an amazing film. So why did you decide? I mean, you could have done that for another 5-10 years, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Did you have something else lined up before you left?
No, it just kind of felt like when I got the job, because it's so full on. I'd never been to drama school, I'm not sure as you can tell, but I've never had one acting lesson.
I did want to say something.
But when I got that job, I was like, okay, I'm going to treat this like my university because I'm going to be doing so many contact hours and they have full-time drama coaches there. And so I just booked in with the drama coach once a week and, just worked as hard as I could. But then by the end of that, like the way that show is designed, every contract initially long-term is about 3 years. And in that 3 years, you'll play everything. You'll do comedy, romantic comedy, high-stakes drama, screwball comedy. Like you'll
Save someone from a fire.
Exactly. You do every genre. And then after that, if you want to star in the show, that's completely cool. They like having established, experienced actors. But you take a step back and then they bring in the next lot of kids or whoever it is. And you sort of become...
You're the guy at the kiosk who...
Yeah, you become the support network. You'll get, your time in the sunshine from time to time. But it's really about turnover. I mean, that's what's the beauty of that show is it's about unearthing... new talent or maybe making people more familiar with established actors who you might not know.
Well, a lot of famous Australian actors have come out of
Well, something happened with Home and Away about
Hemsworth,
10 years ago where they just decided to just spend a bit more money on it. Right. Make it look a bit better, upgrade the cameras, just update everything. And that is the era that bore, Ryan Quanten, Chris Hemsworth, all these actors now who are going on to have really good careers. And I think that it's because the show was like, okay, well, we're going to not turn it into a star factory, but it's going to be nice eye candy.
Yeah,
right. It legitimizes the whole thing. I feel it's the same.
I mean, it's no different to like a CW show or...
Sure, yeah. But it's also, it does play everywhere. Like, it's huge in the UK.
Ireland specifically. That was the thing that used to blow my mind is that when you shoot in Palm Beach, you get these busloads of specifically Irish tourists. And like I've gone back, my wife's Scottish, I've gone back to Scotland with her and that always blows. She's from a village of 6,000 people. It's a bit like I heard you talking about the World's End a couple of weeks ago. That's what the village is like that. And so you see people just like, I'm walking down the street and like, is that the principal from Summer Bay High? Like, what is he doing in Scotland? But it's relatively like they like it there and they're aware of it. But Ireland, they're fanatical about it. It's strange. It just really struck a chord with them.
Cool. Yeah. So I'd imagine that's where a lot of the budget comes from as well. They can sell it to international markets.
Well, Channel 4 or 5.
Right, yeah. One of the channels.
Did you get an explosive send-off?
No. I got a
You had an affair.
Bittersweet. It was a bittersweet send off. I had an affair. I cheated on my wife. We fought for a while, and then it was one of the things where she thought I'd left for the airport, but then and so she's staring off into the water, and I appear behind her and tell her
You came out of the water.
Just push her in and run off. I never loved you.
But you can come back though. You've talked about.
Well,
it,
the funny thing was,
they
like
didn't kill you.
Ada Nicodemu, who played my wife, all of her previous husbands are dead. Like the whole time I was
Previous husbands.
all the time
plural.
all the time I was on the show, the crew were like,
Yep.
well, your contract's coming to an end. The Black Widow's got you now. And so I would say to the producers, look, when I go, I'm happy to go. Just don't kill me. Come on. Like I don't know.
Right.
Let's do something different with it.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
I mean, I would go back. Like I loved working on that show. They're a great bunch of people and it was so much fun. But I just felt like it was, I felt like I'd done everything I was going to do and it was time to sort of try something else.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah,
And so now I'm being hunted by Mick Taylor.
Yeah, right.
that's great.
Finally, the death I've always wanted. I married this broad so I could be murdered. Nothing happened.
Would you want to go through some movies that have been turned into TV shows in the spirit of Wolf Creek and also other shows? I've got a list here, but if anyone wants to chime in at any point,
Yeah, go.
Feel free to put your hand up.
Have you got like any interesting ones? It's like it was a bad movie, but a great TV show. You
I
have
would say
two of
people
those,
think
right?
that of Buffy.
Yeah.
You guys
absolutely.
were fans of Buffy?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Buffy.
I've never really seen it. so
Really?
no.
See,
yeah.
I'm not very good at watching entire series of shows, but Buffy and Angel, funnily enough,
Right,
Yeah, right.
are two series I've seen every episode.
Yeah. Have you seen the original movie as well?
Yes.
No
Yeah,
good.
it's more of a first draft.
Right.
I feel
Yeah.
you can go. The
It's a concept, the first
yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah. It's the first season of Buffy, the TV series. You go, oh, obviously this is what they wanted,
Yeah.
Right.
but they
yeah.
didn't have the money and they didn't have the push to go. I want it like this kind of thing.
It's
So-
completely recast, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's also got that odd thing of like Luke Perry again as a high school student when he's clearly
Wait,
35
what?
years old.
Yeah, hang
Yeah.
on. Because that was
Yeah.
after Melrose. Melrose?
90210.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a couple of years after Beverly Hills. But,
Yeah.
but he's got this little soul patch and it's like, it just makes him look older.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
right.
an era.
What are you doing in high school, you creep?
Yeah,
Get out of
so
here.
yeah,
He's really pushing
and it also
it.
had Pee Wee Herman as
That's
What?
right.
as a sort of a
Armless vampire?
yeah.
He loses an arm. Am I
I,
imagining that?
no, I think yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
This
yeah.
is the movie.
This is the movie, correct?
Donald
Yeah.
Sutherland was her watcher.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
mhm.
Really? So
Yeah.
the Giles, Niles,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Giles.
Giles, thank you, yeah. Phew, I was drowning there. But, yeah. Okay, so would you say it's still worth checking out, though?
No.
Like,
No, yeah, exactly.
no.
No.
so it's
Not at
very
all.
much of its time.
I would even suggest that Buffy, the first series, would probably be a bit dusty to watch these
Right,
days. It would
yeah.
get crappy.
Okay, but you say like progressively it gets
There's
better?
there's good like Buffy season 2, season 6 of Buffy is, I will argue this, that is one of the most outstanding seasons of television of any show ever. That is so well written and
Right.
the climax of that season is so great. If you only need to watch one, if you're going to watch one series, watch season 6 because you don't really need to know a lot of the backstory. It's really great.
Is that the
though.
one where she comes back from the dead?
It's
Spoiler
where
alert?
Willow becomes Dark Willow and goes on this fucking rampage and kills
Eyeliner,
it.
soul
You see a
patch?
man get flayed.
That's
Oh,
right.
shit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was so season 6 was
That's
last
second,
season.
second last.
Second
Yeah,
one. But
yeah.
is the last season not great? I've heard that. I don't know
It's
it's
yeah,
patchy.
it's sort of it's the what stands out to me about that one is it was quite samey. Every
Yeah.
episode is like it's Buffy and a team of potential slayers and they're on the run, and every episode she's like, let's go and do this, and everybody's like, no, you're wrong, Buffy, and then she's proven right at the end and she's like, I've told you, and
know
then repeat 22 more times.
yeah.
yeah.
It's a bit like X-Men Days of Future Past to X-Men Apocalypse. It's like, well, I've kind of seen this.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
We've
yeah.
kind of seen this.
Yeah. More Inhumans. That's what you
So,
want.
yeah.
You're a fan of this, Mason.
Here
Not
we go.
really. Tricked.
We'll see.
I haven't even said anything yet. RoboCop.
Oh,
The TV
sure,
series.
yeah.
Far out, yeah.
Based on the actual same. It's the same universe.
Well,
isn't it?
there's an assortment of animated movies.
Yes.
Or animated
Should
series.
we leave off animated stuff for this?
Yeah.
Because then we're doing Star Wars. We're doing
Okay.
everything. I don't know, but
I had no reference, but yeah, I'll leave it
okay.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's a different guy, but it's a guy from RoboCop 3. Is that right? Or is it a different RoboCop?
No, it's a different.
again?
It's a different RoboCop again. Yeah.
And I'm imagining it's watered down. That's not Verhoeven.
No, it's not. It's
Squibs
not.
everywhere.
It's not brutal in any way. It's very. What I can't remember the name. It's like Dark Vengeance or something like that, which makes it sound a lot more extreme and impressive than you'd think. But it's very.
Yeah.
What year are we talking?
Early 90s, was it?
No, it's later than that.
Like 97.
Something like that. Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah.
I've never even seen RoboCop 3. What
You
happens in
I
that?
remember the bit where he
RoboCop.
flies.
RoboCop 3.
Ninja.
OCP is taken over by a Japanese corporation, so he has to
Right.
fight robot ninjas.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah. But that was that one was PG, and so all the fun was taken out of it really.
Like,
and
two's
they
not great, but-
and they gave him like, you know, he could take his arm off and put a gun on, and he had a jetpack and
That's
etc. Because
right.
they were like, let's
Action
let's
figures.
action figure this
Yeah.
up. Yeah,
Right,
so
right,
it's
right.
really, but I mean, RoboCop's been on a downward like it's still around. But RoboCop's sort of once Peter Weller left, because he is the only guy who's, I think, managed to make that look not completely ridiculous.
He nails the walk. I don't know what it is.
Mime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that where he's from? Is he from the world of
He
mime?
worked with a
Yeah.
mime, yeah.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
But that,
He's got the perfect size head and a teeny little body.
Apparently, have you seen there's a great behind the scenes on one of the DVDs for RoboCop where he just talks about how fucking miserable that job was. I think the first day on set, they had completely miscalculated how long it was going to take into that costume. It took him like almost 6 hours to get into that costume, and then he couldn't fucking walk. And he was like, he had to give this performance. It's amazing that, I mean, that the whole idea of that film working so well and being so brilliant.
Yeah.
When even the name of it is so ludicrous.
It's the dumbest thing you've
And
ever
then
heard,
the
yeah.
irony of when they try and sequelize it, they just feed into what made it dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember hearing that there's a bit where he catches the keys. And they did it like 100 times. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because he can't see anything out of that
Or
visor.
close that glove.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But there was a series in the 90s, which was again more kind of youth. Like he was all non-lethal.
Right.
Because again,
Oh,
they
God.
can't. What's the point?
Tasers or
if he
something?
can't, I don't know if you've ever seen this.
He's not shooting anyone in the dick.
No, there's. I was gonna. I don't know if you've. I've mentioned this a number of times on this show because I love it.
He mentions it every week, but I
Every week, yeah.
I edited it out.
There was I guess like a project for a whole bunch of different visual effects people to remake RoboCop, like scene by scene, and every production company got a different scene. And if you go on, I think it's on YouTube.
I think I've seen this. Is it the Dick Massacre?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
By
I've
a
seen it.
company
Yeah,
called
yeah.
Fatal Farm, who also did Lasagna Cat, which is this viral Garfield parody thing. But it's just a dick massacre.
Yeah,
it's
Really
horrendous.
realistic looking dicks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
squib-loaded prosthetic dicks exploding.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, so there was this series in the 90s where he was all non-lethal and because you can't, if it's a series, you can't kill all the bad guys every week because then you
Yeah.
have to invent a new bad guy. So
Yeah,
he was all
yeah.
it was all nets and tasers. Yeah, exactly.
that
But
sucks.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what though? It's kind of in the spirit of that.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll be the
Terminators-
judge of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Sarah Connor, the
Chronicles.
Chronicles of
The
Sarah
hardest to
Connor.
pronounce fucking show on TV. The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Terminator 4. Sarah. What's it called?
Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Is it?
It was called the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and then because it didn't rate well because nobody knew who Sarah Connor was, I
Right.
think they called it Terminator
Right.
Sarah Connor
Okay.
Chronicles.
I've seen the first season. It's better than the
I like the
sequels.
first season.
Yeah.
Because they time travel at the end of the first one.
Yeah,
isn't
they
it?
go
the modern era,
They
yeah.
go from 97 to 2008
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, and it was
Yeah.
bloody
Lena Headey.
yeah,
It
incest
was,
girl.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know their names.
That's how she's known. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's how she signs things. But no, I think that's a solid show.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were disappointed when it was cancelled. I think it was because they were doing more movies.
And who was
And
that?
then it didn't rate super well.
Because I remember the first episode of that TV show, there's a really great sequence where John Connor's at a new school and they're doing
Yes.
roll call and the Terminator
Is
has
the
snuck,
teacher.
yeah, but he snuck a gun in his thigh.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
It's like,
yeah.
why did he
He's
have to
learned
do
from
that? Couldn't he
RoboCop,
just
yeah.
bring it in his teacher's bag? You're a teacher.
I'm a
Like,
teacher. No, we had so many guns. But I guess US schools probably have metal detectors.
But
I
he's
guess.
got metal inside his
Exactly.
skin.
You know
Like,
what? That's a really good point.
I don't know why. I mean, it looked cool when he sliced open
Yeah.
his
It
thigh
looked
and pulled
very
out that
cool.
gun.
There's in the movie A Fish Called Wanda, there's a scene, every time I see that movie, which isn't often, but there's a scene where Kevin Kline gets a gun through airport security, but he just
Oh,
takes
he
it
does
out of
the
his pocket
flip.
and he flips it beside the metal detector
Yeah.
as he's walking past and he catches it on the other side
very
and puts
cool.
it back in his pocket.
I love that.
And you could never do that.
You'd
now.
be shot
I
to
tried to do
death.
that. I tried to do it with my keys and I get like tasered.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I wouldn't say it's brilliant, but I think it's in the spirit of, because it ignores.
Well, it's
3.
better than friggin' Genesis and
I
Yeah.
was watching that
Salvation.
today. I was
Because
like,
it's
I
on
need-
Netflix, right?
Yeah, I was like, I need something to watch while I edit, something I don't need to watch. I think I said this last week. The first 15 minutes of that movie, like it shows the future war, and when there's the parallel start to Terminator 1, it's okay. And then it just, what if your app could connect to your smartphone? And then it was like, are you fucking
well,
serious?
as like,
Like, what-
Will and I talked about this on TOFOP, and as he rightly pointed out, the scary future that they're predicting is here already.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
this,
right,
This
exactly.
thing that like we
Yeah.
should all be fearing. It's like you're too late.
They're
Like,
showing
I'd
people,
rather fight a robot, quite frankly, you know.
they're showing people on their phones, like everyone's on their phone. Yeah, they are. That's not an amazing.
What if at the end of that
Commentary.
movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger just sits down and goes, nobody just talks to each other on the train anymore,
Yeah.
guys.
But I also like don't. Again, this is this fan service thing. Of you got to have Arnie to be a Terminator film. No, you don't. You don't. Like, this is
Exactly,
what I
yeah.
love about Mad Max Fury Road, is I'm the biggest Mad Max fan on the planet.
Yeah.
And when that film came out, so many of my friends who were Mad Max fans like, oh, this sucks. This is not Mad Max. It's all weird and stuff. But George Miller took his own property and just completely revamped it. It's not desaturated. It's bright and technicolor.
Yeah.
Mad Max isn't a stoic cowboy. He's a dude with PTSD. Like, there's so much stuff in it where it's like, this is great. I want to see this with all of my favorite franchises and films. Like, just bring in new directors each time and put a new spin on it and stop dragging out these old actors
Right.
who need a paycheck. Like,
Yeah,
I
right.
don't
So
care.
for Blade Runner, you're like, don't do it.
Don't do it. Like, I mean,
Good director though. He's the guy who did
I
Arrival.
know, he's
and- yeah.
Well, look,
But you're talking about bringing back the old
I
ones.
feel like I will be disappointed by the new Blade Runner. Just,
Right, yeah.
I just think that just don't be burdened by having to do this fan service stuff, because I feel like there's enough audience out there who don't know about the original Blade Runner, who like,
Yeah.
and it's not, and are there really that many hardcore Blade Runner fans who are going to be furious if Harrison Ford wasn't in this? Like, people were saying
Yes.
that about Mad Max. No Mel, no Max. That's like, well, you're wrong, because they
can't
made a
really-
great film.
Yeah, exactly. I think the movie is better for not putting him in.
Although, having seen, there's a film that Mel Gibson did called Bloodfather that
Yeah, he's
came out
really
last
good in that,
year, and I'm
yeah.
like, oh, it would have been good to see.
Yeah,
Mel
yeah,
do one
actually-
more Mad Max.
You know what? You are right.
A crusty old man,
Yes.
Max.
Hey, speaking of time travel, I
I'm
just thought
ready.
of one. I just thought of one. I did some research for the show because
Was
Bill.
that when you were looking at your phone just then?
No, this is earlier.
Just,
I
he's
didn't
just
have
ordering some waffles.
Yeah, that's right.
right. Yeah.
So after Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey,
Yeah.
there was an animated series which we won't talk about,
Can't.
but
Not allowed.
there was also a live action series. Did you
Was
know that?
there
I watched
really?
several episodes of it earlier today.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
What? Who's in it?
so there was the animated series, and that had the
You can't talk about that.
No, I know. But the first season of it that had Keanu Reeves and Bill Winters and George Carlin as
Bill
the
Winters.
voices. Sorry?
Is that his name?
Alex
Winters.
Alex Winters, there we
Yeah.
go. Bill,
You're
I'm
confusing the
confused.
characters with
Yeah.
the
So it had those three in as the voice cast, and then for the second season, it was just. Well, it wasn't randos, but it was two randos as Bill and Ted, and Rick
Yeah.
Overton, who's another stand-up comedian, as Rufus.
Yeah.
And then they did a live-action version where they got those three, the voice cast, to do the live
Oh my God,
TV
that's
series.
so they would have been
weird.
that age-ish, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess so, yeah. And you know what? They kind of pull it off.
Really?
They-
What era are we talking
this is
here?
1992.
I want to see
It's like
this.
right
Yeah, it's
after
all on
the
YouTube
sequel.
if
Yeah,
you want
right.
to in small increments.
Yeah, yeah.
No
and it's
idea.
very it's I think it was only like 7 or 8
I mean,
episodes.
Bill and Ted seems like something that you could turn into a TV show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did you ever read the Bill and Ted comic book?
Yes, I did.
I
yeah.
loved it.
It's good,
Yeah.
isn't
I
it?
thought it was so great.
Yeah. Because it was wild at the time. I think
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, you got to read the margins of every panel. Like, oh, what's going on here? There's some
That's
little,
right, yeah.
little illustrations back here. There's something else going on.
But they had so there's the guy who plays Ted who does a fine Alex Winters impression, and there's a guy who like he really commits to the Keanu Reeves kind of the
I need to see what
the-
this guy looks like.
check it out.
Yeah.
They're not looks accurate,
but
they're not
mannerisms.
lookalikes.
yeah. And it's I kind of enjoyed it.
I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah.
I would like to see it.
I'm
But did the
shocked I
budget?
didn't-
Did they have like?
It's a lot smaller scale.
Yeah, right.
Like clearly they like I watched
Well, here we are in merry old England.
Exactly
As
right.
a car drives past.
Oh yeah, they look enough like.
exactly right.
Yeah, so my computer will unplug if I. Like it's
Oh, that's possible.
I
Yeah.
was half expecting it be Alex Winters and a guy who's not Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
You know
exactly
what I mean?
right. Yeah, yeah.
No, they are doing another one,
But it's
that's
small scale,
moving.
and they kind of reuse a lot of the like when they always time travel back to like they work at like a hardware store, and so they always time travel back to that same spot so they can reuse the same landing effect every single time.
right.
And but it's I kind of enjoy. I think I'm gonna watch the rest of them. It's
Yeah, I think I'm going to check that out too.
I mean it's not good. Just to be clear, it's
Oh,
not,
okay,
it's not a
yeah,
good
good.
show.
Are we already doing what we're reading already?
Yeah, that's right.
YouTube videos.
That's it. Do you guys what do you got? Training Day. You guys watch Training Day?
No.
No, with the
Apparently
late
that-
Bill Paxton.
Apparently, it follows on from the show, of the movie show.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Hang on.
I have no thoughts on it, but
But hang on, but Bill Paxton plays the Denzel.
oh, does
yes,
he?
yes, he does.
Yeah.
I've been misinformed.
Unless, like, I mean, if it follows on from the film and suddenly he's a different race,
Yeah,
like,
right.
that would be
That's
Yeah.
brave. I call that brave casting. Yeah,
That's
no, but I
right.
think
whitewashing Hollywood. Bloody
Yeah.
first Scarlett Johansson. Then
That's right.
no this, but I think apparently it's good and apparently it's done now. Like they're not going to do it anymore. But
Well,
hey.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's
Anyway, brought that down. Westworld. You guys watch Westworld?
tremendous. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you? I thought you didn't.
No, I love it.
Oh, I thought you were one of those who didn't.
No.
You son of a bitch, Mason.
And you
That's
like
right.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Everyone here likes it. Wait, do you like it?
I like it.
Okay.
We all
so you
like
weren't
it,
thinking
guys.
of yourself when you were like,
No, because I listened to your show and I'm
Yeah.
sure there was someone on who was not a fan.
Oh, it was
Someone-
Ben Vernal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't like it. Is that
Yeah.
him? Is that right?
You can go to hell.
Yeah, fuck him.
Oh, speaking of people who you've had on the show, just to digress slightly, we've
Sure.
got to talk about Sam Loy.
Okay,
Please
yeah.
do that.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. You mentioned this.
Yeah.
Sam.
Is this on your running sheet? Sorry, have I jumped ahead?
No,
Oh.
I did. I wrote it down for later, but this is all fine.
Because I looked up your Wikipedia just earlier and it said, what's the name of the film? Sorry.
On the beach?
On the Beach.
the
there
Beach,
we go.
yeah.
I believe my friend Pete Sharkey is also in that. I don't know if you know Pete.
No.
But I think everybody in Australia except us was in the film
Yeah.
On
They
the
employed
Beach.
a lot of Melbourne
Yeah.
because it's a fairly big production. But yes, so Sam, I heard him on your show and I'm like, I fucking know that voice. I know
Yeah.
that name. And
Great podcast, by the way. Human Ordinary. Everyone check it out. It's awesome. Sorry, go on.
And so my first ever acting job was I had a tiny little role in On the Beach. And the plot of On the Beach is it's sort of the world is facing nuclear annihilation. This Navy, this submarine, American submarine has sailed to Australia as the radiation is slowly descending over the world. So they've got like in a few weeks to sort of like work out what the fuck they're going to do. They're going to stay in Australia or they're going to go back into, the radiation. So the original film stars Gregory Peck as the,
Oh, okay,
the commander of this submarine. And, he plays him with this nobility. Like he's Gregory Peck.
Yeah.
In the TV version, they cast Amanda Sante.
they
Mambo
did.
King's
Yes.
Amanda Sante.
What year
Judge
was this?
Dredd's
Yeah.
That's
Amanda
right,
Sante.
yes.
What year was this?
I want to say like 99 or 2000
Right. So it
or
was
something
just
like
post Judge Dredd.
Yeah, it's probably
He was
about 4
riding
years
high.
He's riding
Post-Dredd.
high
Yeah.
off being Judge Rico, Judge Dredd.
Stallone's exact clone, I guess.
that. And so Sam and I were playing two sailors who have gone AWOL. So there's only one scene. And the scene was that Amanda Sante walks onto the boat with his, second in command. And they say, "Sir, we've got the two soldiers who went AWOL. Would you like to speak to them?" And the way it was scripted was a very Gregory Peck-esque speech where he's like, "Gentlemen, we are facing, the end of times and we must rely on each other. And those of you who do not want to be here, then can make that choice, but you shall not endanger, and blah, blah, blah."
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah,
That's some
cool.
good acting,
Thank
man.
you.
Like,
Thank
for
you.
real, yeah.
And so I meet Sam and, we've got a few lines within that speech. And so we sort of just go through that. And, I've never been on set before. It's all pretty exciting for me. I get taken out to the submarine that they're shooting on. So it's like a set out in Williamstown.
All right.
Yeah.
And
Real sub?
huh?
Real sub?
No, like it's just a shell, like
Okay.
a sort of just the top of it. And Russell Mulcahy was the director. Highlander and Razorbacks, Russell Mulcahy was the
okay.
director. Wasn't doing a lot of directing as I remember. He was at the catering table eating and I think he sort of waved his hand dismissively and was like, "Yeah, you guys just, run the scene. I'll be over in a sec."
Killing it.
And so we were up there waiting for Amand to arrive, and Amand arrives and he's got this big, bus that his personal assistant drives, and he gets off and he sort of like struts onto the set, and he says hello and stuff, and we get ready to run the scene. They call action, and he starts just going off script, like just doing like ad-libbing, but like the way it was written was this noble kind of speech about camaraderie and making choices for everyone and not for yourself. But he starts doing like he's doing the speech from Any Given Sunday, like Al Pacino's speech, where he starts sort of pacing back and forth and rubbing the back of his head. And it went, I'll do my best, Amanda Sante. It was along the lines of he's like, when you're on the boat like this, you got to rely on another guy. You can't turn your back on a guy, because if you turn your back on a guy, I'm going to kick your ass, and I don't want to on this boat. Who's going to be on this boat? So I'll put you. And he grabs Sam in a fucking headlock, like without like
Sam's big
tall, yeah.
as well, yeah.
Puts Sam in a headlock and drags him down the galleyway and like kicks him off and then grabs me and throws me off after him. And they call cut and we're like, what the fuck just happened?
Did you say your line?
I didn't even get my fucking line out. And Russell Mulcahy's come over and he's like, "Okay, you guys rehearse, can we shoot?" And we're like, "Well," and they're like, "Yeah, let's go." And so they put us up there again. I remember like by the third time, they like Amanda Sante put Sam in a headlock and thrown him off the boat. He was like, "I'm going to fucking punch this guy in the nose if he puts me in a headlock again." But the best bit about it was as he was kicking us down the gangway or whatever it's called, he was continuing to ad-lib. And he had this one line that stuck in my head where he's like, "Get off this boat before I fucking pile drive you off this boat. I don't want anyone on this boat who doesn't be on this boat. If I ever see you again, son, I will tear you an asshole the size of that which you did not know you were." And I remember just like walking away the same going, What does that even mean? That line made it into the
It made it
final
in the-
cut.
Did you think he did it on the fly, or did
Yes,
you
it was complete. It was not in the script, but it has taken me almost like 2 decades to decode what that line meant.
But I mean, like, do you think he wrote it before and he went on the bus?
No,
You
it
think
felt
he
to
was
me
just-
like he was just in the moment.
he was going for it.
But I will tell you an asshole the size of that which you did not know you were. Can you understand what that means?
Is that so? I take that as like the size that you are, or slightly bigger.
We're gonna have to diagram this, guys.
Yeah, please.
You are an asshole,
Asshole, you don't know you are.
but I'm going to rip you one the size
Right,
of the asshole
okay.
that you
That
are.
you are.
And they left
Yeah.
that in.
They left it in.
Amazing.
Yeah, you can find on the beach to all good retailers.
Afterwards, was he like, "Great job, everyone"?
Oh, he was lovely. After
Right,
that,
okay.
he took us on his little bus, and his personal assistant drove us to lunch, and he told us some stories about Mumbo Kings.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was all pleasant. But
Sam
yeah,
didn't punch
that
him.
was my Sam. That was my Sam Loy story. I'm very glad to hear he's doing so well now.
Yeah, he's killing it, man. Yeah, he's he got.
I wonder if he remembers that. Next time you have him on, ask
would
him.
What if he's like, do you remember the headlock thing? And he's like, what? No.
I imagine the whole thing.
Yeah, he's got a well, I don't know if I can say this. He's got a gig lined up on ABC Radio.
Fantastic.
Coming up, yeah. And he's got his podcast really taken off in the US as well. It's like, yeah, no, he's killing.
What
it.
am I
Yeah.
doing? Nothing. Been
Nothing.
hunted by Nick
You're doing
Taylor in
this
the Outback.
podcast.
Ugh, wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Hey, speaking of Russell Mulcahy,
I'm ready.
who loves Highlander the series?
You.
Yes,
Just
I
me.
did. I
yeah,
did.
see?
I did.
See?
I've never seen
James?
it. I've never seen
The
it.
Highlander TV series actually kind of was popular enough that they bled it into the cinematic universe.
Yeah, they
it's
did, yeah.
better than
and
the
there was a
sequels,
spin-off which
right?
did not do well.
What?
Highlander the Raven.
What was that?
It's Duncan MacLeod, who is the MacLeod who isn't
Not Connor.
not Connor MacLeod, but close enough.
Connor's the Frenchman.
Yes, exactly.
the
But close
confusing
enough and
Frenchman.
Connor
uses
is
the
the
same sword
Spaniard.
and etc. But he had a love interest who was a diamond thief called the Raven, and she got her own spin-off, which went for like 3 years.
I mean, because I'm a bit older than you guys, but Highlander was perfect study TV. It was like late on a Thursday
Yeah.
night, so I'd be up doing homework or cramming or something like that, and then I'd watch Highlander. That'd be my 1 hour break.
Uh-huh.
But I used to really dig it. I actually thought
Yeah.
it had good mythology, and there was one episode where the lead singer of the Fine Young Cannibals
Nice.
guest starred as another immortal.
Yeah. There's also one of the Who is an immortal.
Oh, really?
Which one?
The curly head one?
Don't look
Yes.
at me.
Yeah.
What's his
no,
name?
come on, you're an
This
expert
show
on
I
the Who.
hate and I've never seen.
Yeah.
I'm not helping.
I'll think of it in a minute.
Dalton. Daltrey.
Roger Daltrey? might? Yeah, it's
Is he
Roger
the lead
Daltrey.
singer
Yeah.
of-
So why are there more immortals?
Oh,
I mean, they
this-
do it in the movies anyway.
Yeah,
But,
it's Highlander 1. Now, Highlander the series is set after the events of the first Highlander, but the Gathering didn't finish them off. So it turns out there were just more and more. What he thought was the Gathering.
What a rip-off. Imagine if you're Connor MacLeod.
Yeah.
You finally defeated the Kurgan. You've
Yep.
flown up into the sky, hit by
That's right.
lightning bolts.
Yeah.
And then you come down and someone's like, actually, there's quite a few more.
Yeah,
We
it's
really
called, it's more, it
miscalculated.
was all a dream, guys.
This
It was all a
gathering
dream.
was a 2-mile radius.
It was just all the New York assholes. And now they're dead.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. We'll continue on. But yeah, it was...
So would you say watch the first movie, then go to the show? Because
Watch the first movie, watch the series. We don't have to do any of these things. Watch the first movie, watch the series, and then watch Highlander 4, which is Endgame.
Yeah.
Which is...
The Mario Van Peebles one?
No, that's 3.
Oh, right.
But 4 is the one that has both Highlanders in it.
How can that be? How can they exist in the same... Aren't they from different time... Oh, no, they are in the same timeline.
They're in the same timeline, and...
What am I saying? How can
Yeah.
that be?
Wait a minute.
Like,
There's
I'm
a-
talking about the franchise where in the second
Yeah.
film they decided they're
Yeah.
aliens from
Exactly.
another planet.
Christopher Lambert is in the first episode of Highlander the series, and there's sort of a handover.
Right,
and he's
okay.
like, good on you, mate.
I
You're going
hope
to be great.
I hope your franchise isn't as popular as mine.
Yeah,
Bad luck.
that's right.
More
Yeah.
But
popular.
Highlander 4 has both of them,
Right.
and it has the same fight choreographer as the series, which was a lot better.
Is that
than
the one where a
movie.
guy gets cut down the middle and then
That's
reforms?
only in the trailer.
Yeah, boo.
That's a special effects shot that was only in the trailer.
Why would you take that out?
Why would you take
Yeah.
that out?
Crazy.
And then skip Highlander 5, which is
Right.
real bad.
Okay.
But yeah. But
Wait
yeah, the
for
series...
the reboot that
yeah.
they're doing with Ryan Reynolds. What they were talking
Really?
about. I think it's done. I don't
Okay.
think they're doing it anymore.
Yeah, the series...
Why don't
is-
they just hire an actual Scot this time? There's
It's not in
Ewan
the
McGregor.
It's not in the spirit of Highlander.
McGregor. Yeah, you're right. It's not in the spirit of it, is
Yeah,
it?
tell you right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Scotsman playing an Egyptian or a Spaniard. We're gonna have a French guy playing a Scot.
Yeah. Whatever Kurgan is. Kurgan, what's his name?
He's Clancy Brown, the great
Yes.
voice
Yeah.
actor.
What's
yeah.
the,
Awesome.
what race is he?
Romanian, I'm going to say.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
He seems creepily Eastern
Yeah.
European.
Yeah, but
Wearing
too
a
big.
skull.
The
Yeah.
biggest Eastern European there is. But the series was really good. It was filmed mostly in France, I think, and so it looks
Who's
great.
the name of the lead guy? Alexandra Paul?
Adrian Paul,
Adrian
yeah.
Paul. Yeah, he's got good ponytail. Gives good ponytail.
Yeah. Cuts it off in the last season.
No!
It's symbolic.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
What?
Um,
Does it reform?
yeah, it does.
Great. Mason, as you know, I'm going to LA in like a month.
Lucky
maybe a bit
for some.
Lucky for me in particular.
Oh, that's who I meant when I said some.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah. So
I meant it to be mean, but actually, I think it's probably good that you're going over. That's
good.
You have a good
Well,
time.
I got a wedding to go to. I got to go to Vegas, but before that, I'm gonna
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby.
Woo!
I don't gamble. I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
gonna do. I don't
yeah.
do drugs. What do you do in Vegas? I'll go see Celine Dion.
You're already married, so you
That's
can't
true,
be married
yeah.
by an Elvis impersonator.
Oh man,
You can get divorced by an Elvis
I can get
impersonator.
divorced.
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
isn't it though? Yeah.
That aside,
Sure.
I didn't want to just eat takeaway food when I'm going there. And our new sponsor this week is actually Blue Apron. It's a US only company that basically deliver affordable meals to your house. $10 per meal, which is very reasonable, especially when you count up how much groceries cost and how much you throw away and all that kind of thing. They deliver seasonal recipes with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals, and you can choose from a variety of recipes each week, or you can be like, surprise me.
Nice. And see, that's my biggest problem is the pre-proportion, because I don't cook a lot. And
Right.
it's because it's not pre-proportioned, because I either cook too much pasta or not enough pasta.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never, ever cooked the correct amount of pasta.
Absolutely. And how much stuff do you throw away generally? Like a lot of fresh
stuff.
produce?
Yes.
'Cause I know I do, yeah. They can customize the recipes based on your preference. Also, the meals that they have step-by-step easy to follow recipes. I'm not a massive cooking person, but you look at it and it's very reasonable. And it's 40 minutes or less to prepare.
Nice.
The other thing is, if it turns up and you're like, all the ingredients aren't here, this isn't ready to cook, I don't like it, they will refund you.
Oh, very nice.
But speaking of, Mason, you can get 3 meals for free
Hello.
with free shipping if you go to blueapron.com/weeklyplanet. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so don't wait.
I was thinking about waiting. but then
Don't wait.
could I wait a couple of, like a few...
You can wait.
I wouldn't wait, though.
Okay,
No, I
good.
wouldn't recommend waiting.
And that's blueapron.com/weeklyplanet. I'll let you all know how the food goes. I'm sure it'll
Please
be
do.
spectacular.
Send me send me photos, because every time I look at their website, I'm like...
Yeah.
Because this is US only.
Yeah, yeah.
This particular one. And I'm like, damn.
To test this out, because obviously we can't do it here, I got some friends in the US who sent it over, and they really, well, first of all, they appreciated the free meal.
Oh, sure,
And
yeah.
Secondly,
Because they're a bunch of grubs.
That's right. But secondly, they said it was really good. So yeah, that's blueapron.com/weeklyplanet.
Nice.
This was inserted, by the way, into the show. That's why Charlie's not here for this. He's not just sitting quietly.
We didn't say silence.
Shut up, Charlie.
We didn't say, hey, Charlie, you going to participate in this ad for free? And he's like, I think my cut. And he's like, we're like, shut up.
Anyway, back to...
Leave the room, Charlie.
if you could. All right, back into it. I'm a big fan of MASH, the TV series.
Yeah,
the
I'm
movies.
quite a MASH.
Yeah, the movies. Well, there's a couple of movies. There's the one that ends it, but the original movie had Donald Sutherland and Robert Duvall. It's quite good, but I think the show builds on it.
That's probably that's probably an example where the show is as good as, or definitely much more well remembered than the movie.
Yeah.
For anyone, yeah. I mean, when was the movie? Like early 70s?
I think it might have been before.
In fact, I
that.
remember being a kid who grew
it
up
was
on the
before
TV
the
show.
war.
I think you're right. Early
Being a kid who
70s,
grew up on
yeah.
the TV show and then watching
Yeah.
the movie, I didn't like it. It was like, ugh,
Same,
why do
yeah.
they all look weird?
Who is
The
this?
ones I know.
Yeah. I mean, there's more nudity, but other than that, yeah. Anyway, I talk about MASH too much, so let's just breeze over that. Taken is a TV series at the moment. Anyone
Really?
seen that?
No.
It's a prequel, but it's set in the modern day.
Terrific.
What? With who? Who's the dad?
Don't know.
I mean, and like, is it just his daughter continuously getting
I
kidnapped?
guess so. Maybe it's his
Dad. Every pre-title sequence is his dad. You won't believe it.
it's
I was
just-
on spring break, but I've been kidnapped again.
They have to just lock every door in the house because his daughter leaves unattended at any time she gets taken.
That's it. Just hide under the bed. You know the
Now,
you know the
what she
drill.
does? Now, what she does? She calls up. He's got a voicemail box, and she just hands it to the kidnappers, and it's just him doing this particular set of skills, like recorded message. He's like, if you're listening to this, you're probably a terrorist who's kidnapped my daughter. Just to let you know, I have a particular series of skills. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, absolutely. We can probably skip over that then.
Yeah, probably.
Minority Report tape is set in the movie universe.
Yeah, it
When's
is,
that?
yeah.
Is that
It's
new?
relatively
last year.
recently. It takes one of the precogs. Is that right? Am I right?
Yeah,
in
so
that?
So it's
Like the original actor.
Well, it's all three.
Oh, is it?
It's all three of the same cat. So basically, it's 10 years after the movie. No Tom Cruise, but they've dismantled the precog program, and but one of the precogs keeps getting precognitive flashes, so he keeps seeing murders, and he keeps like running to the scene of where the murder's going to happen, but he's always too late. Like there's a scene where he like runs in the middle of a town square, and he's like, I don't know. It's not supposed to be funny, but it is. And he runs into a town square and he's like, where's the... And then like the 12th story building, like you see somebody get hurled out a window and fall to their death and land on a bus. And he's like, too late. It's happened again, kind of thing. So he basically goes to...
So it focuses on the precog, not the cop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
but he goes to the cops and he's like, listen, I'm still doing this, but if anybody finds out that I'm still doing this, they'll, the government will capture me or what have you again. So... let's keep this on the down low kind of thing. And you see the other two, because one, he sees the murders, his brother sees details, so he sees like names and addresses.
He sees the murders, his brother hears them, and the other one speaks them.
That's right. So the other one's just working at like a cashier at a grocery store, and they're just like, murder. There was a murder, guys.
It's
So
okay though, right?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's not still around.
No,
I think it
it's
lasted
finished.
like 10 episodes or something, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Okay.
I
Check
just
it.
think
again,
it's weird though that you would take the central character out of the film and make a TV series about through the characters who had no lines.
I guess it's cheaper than holographic gloves and interfaces.
But
Or Tom
that's in there
Cruise.
though.
Oh, it is.
That's all the like. It's upgraded, but it's also cheaper looking.
Right.
Because like they can do it quicker now because the special effects stuff is there. But
I mean,
it's
I
just,
would be more interested if it was more about, so it's 10 years later and they're trying to restart the precog program, because that was the whole point, right? Is they said it was flawless, but then they discovered it could be manipulated.
Yeah, right.
Someone's come out and said, oh, look, now this is 2.0, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That would be more interesting to me. Why didn't they do that show?
Yeah,
Mason?
good point. Yeah, Mason.
Who knows?
Why did they
Answer
cancel
me.
it?
Hey, speaking of shows that didn't have the original protagonist, and it feels very much the same. Limitless. Did you guys watch Limitless?
I
I
heard
know
that
you're
was
a big
good.
fan, yeah.
It's good, but it's also samey.
Right.
Because like Minority Report, you have to put it, you get Limitless, the idea of it, and you have to make a procedural out of it.
Yeah.
How do you do that every time? And so they have to build like a certain setup where he's always helping the cops, and it's always
Right.
he's always fighting crime, but it's always he always has to take his drug to become limitless, and then
And Bradley Cooper's in it as well?
he's in it he's in it
He's a
intermittently.
producer as well.
Yeah, but the
being handsome.
Yes.
exactly, yeah.
Professionally handsome man.
The I don't believe the plot was ever like the because he kept showing up and he's like, listen, the premise was basically that if you take the limitless drug, eventually you start to erode, like your teeth rot and you fall to pieces. But Bradley Cooper's, because he's rich and he's been on the drug for ages, he's developed a cure.
He
And so
mentions at the end of the movie.
so he gives it to this other guy like secretly.
Hey, sorry.
So the main protagonist,
Ollie.
the main protagonist is sort of this slacker dude. He appears to be the only person who's immune to it, but secretly he's receiving this drug to prevent him from dying. And so they're like, we're gonna bring you on in our FBI task force, and you can solve crimes, kind of thing. And so, but Bradley Cooper's like, okay, you're my in to the FBI for secret reasons. But we
Right.
never find out what the secret reasons are. So
That's frustrating.
yeah,
Political.
but imagine what they'd be.
Politics.
Yeah.
Politics, right? Didn't he want to run for president or
Probably it's
something?
probably president, probably
or
president
whatever?
stuff.
Yeah.
Any president stuff.
President, we can all
stuff.
agree it's president stuff?
Yes,
Oh,
president
yeah.
stuff.
Can we all agree that...
Three yeses to that.
Yes, okay, good. Can we all agree that The Crow had a TV series called The Crow Stairway to Heaven?
Yeah, with Mark Dacascos.
Ah, no
Yeah.
way.
Of Double Dragon fame.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Didn't see it. What was it? Bad?
Terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
really good. I mean, The Crow is one of those things where that first film was lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
They should have just left it. Everything they've made afterwards has sucked. It was of its time. I think it holds up. I know it's very much, it depends how you feel about that very gothy
It was
sort of
it was of the time, but I think it
mid-nineties.
still
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
But I think also, I mean, you just can't get past the potency of the fact that Brandon Lee died making that film, and it's such a fantastic performance. Everything else after that is just going to pale in comparison.
So Mark Dacascos doesn't capture the spirit.
No, and I think they only cast him because he's sort of got the slightly similar Eurasian look as,
Of course,
Brandon
yeah. I
Lee.
should have
And he
known.
does kung fu, sort of. Well, he does double dragoning.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Whatever style of fighting that is.
Arguably, he does kung fu. Okay.
Well, it suffers from that problem. Like The the film is in, there's quite dark themes in that. Like, this guy and his wife she was like raped and murdered, and he was thrown from a tower and stuff. This one suffers from the same problem as RoboCop, where it's all like a lot of shot during the daytime.
Oh, good.
Like, daytime Crow ain't good.
No. So he's got the makeup and everything, but he's walking around in there.
Yeah, it's like Batman sitting in the jury.
Yeah. That's right. He's like, I'm the Crow right now, but I've got 2 dates on opposite sides of town. I got to keep running back and forth.
And I seem to remember the Stairway to Heaven being like this metaphorical bridge that he was seeking solace in the afterlife, but it was just like,
was he a new?
It was
the
like
Crow?
a wooden footbridge, like they'd just gone down to the Yarrow.
Yeah, right.
Okay, great.
Like a wooden
That's a good
footbridge.
question. Was he? Because also you would.
Because Edward Furlong was the Crow.
That's right.
Someone else was the Crow before that. And
Yeah,
the
that
original Crow,
Spanish actor in the terrible sequel.
Yeah. City
David
of Angels.
Boreanaz? No, he was a villain in one of the Crows.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good.
But like, sure. And again, if it's a series,
we're friends
like,
again.
how long's it taken this dude to get vengeance? It doesn't. Seem,
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing about the Crow was it comes to help you, a soul that's a bit restless.
Yeah.
So once you've done your little business,
Get out of here, mate.
yeah, get out of here, Crow.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
That would make an interesting series where every episode or couple of episodes there's a new The Crow.
The
I
Crow,
think that
yeah.
would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but I guess it would be harder to sell to anyone.
Oh,
'cause
that's-
it's like,
that's
how do you
true,
get them
yeah.
to hook into? You want to
Yeah.
sell it off the back of a
Exactly.
You keep the same bird,
character.
the same crow.
Same
Yeah, yeah.
Crow.
That's how
you
you
build
hook
up
people
a
voiced by Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah, you
I'm the Crow. I'm here.
build up a famous Crow. Great.
I'd watch all of that. You know what I hated at the time, and I hate it even more now because I've looked at clips and it's terrible. The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
Oh, I never saw that.
Horrendous.
It was edutaining. It was very edutaining.
That's what I hate about it. Don't sneak geometry into Indiana Jones, you son of a bitch. Because it's always like, we got to use this pulley to get this basket of rocks.
Oh,
up.
so it's like education.
Oh, it's horrible, yeah.
Get out of here with that shit.
Exactly. And it was like, it's Sean Patrick Flannery.
Sean Patrick Flannery.
And he's fine.
The
Like,
guy who was almost a star. You know?
almost.
Yeah.
He did.
nearly
He
made
just
it.
like everyone seemed to love him. He's kind of like
Yeah.
who's that dude who's in all the Star Trek? He's in Star Trek and Stand by Me and
Oh, Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Will Wheaton had and then has just adopted this new space within the
Yes.
kind of geek culture. And Sean Patrick Flannery, he was kind of like he had that similar kind
the
of
Boondock Saints
Like
and-
geeks loved him, like
Yeah.
movie geeks loved
Yeah,
him.
right.
But he never got that. He never sort of transcended into
Yeah.
like Ryan Reynolds territory.
like a rung below Nathan Fillion, who got Castle
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
yeah, what's he up to now, Sean
don't know.
Patrick Flannery?
I'll tell you.
Oh, here we go.
He's written a novel.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, here we
It's,
are making fun of him.
Let's say he was in Saw,
He was
the
in
final chapter.
He was in
Really?
Dexter.
Yep, he was in The Young and the Restless. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, he's working.
yeah, good on him.
Good on him.
SPF 15 plus.
That's right. But anyway, it's terrible. But they also used it as
Looks good for 51.
is he 51?
It's 51.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's, I think
He
he's
looks
had
a
a
bit
bit
like
of
Keith
work.
Urban in that photo.
He does, yeah.
He's got the
That's what I
hair.
meant. Great for 51.
But I remember hearing more recently that a lot of what they did in that was just to kind of pioneer stuff at Lucasfilm and try and do things on the cheap. There's a lot of special effects and things where there's a crowd and they'll paste multiple people just to see if they could do... Like, it had a huge budget for what it was. Because the Lucasfilm wasn't also really doing anything. This is, they kind of, after Star Wars and How the Duck, it kind of stalled a bit in terms of... Like, they did, special effects and whatnot, but they didn't do their own projects.
Yeah,
So
right.
this kind of enhanced a lot of stuff towards, like, the prequels and...
Yeah.
I think the idea was also to maybe, because they learnt lessons for this, which they wanted to do in the Star Wars series that never went to air, that they wanted to do
I
after
remember
Revenge of the
that. I
Sith.
remember
Yeah.
in Australia, there was talk in the early 2000s about a TV
Yeah.
series they're going to shoot in Australia.
Yes.
And I had friends who was... Yeah, you heard that?
Yeah,
Matt Newton.
Matt Newton was going to be Quinlan Voss
Or something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah,
I don't really know my Star Wars characters that well, but I remember I had a few friends who had these clandestine kind of meetings with Lucasfilm. Like you'd be brought in for a meeting and it'd just be very vague discussions. I don't know if it was actually with George Lucas or Kathleen Kennedy or whoever was producing it at the time, but like no script or anything like that. Just took a vague meet and greet.
Right, yeah.
Which is, I've auditioned for George Miller a couple of times and he just sends you get sent 5 generic kind of monologues and you can just choose one and that's what you do. You just go in. And apparently he's been doing that since like the first Mad Max film.
Is it the same 5?
I don't know if it's the same 5 monologues, but you won't audition for the role. You will do something unrelated and then within that he will see something that he likes.
What have you auditioned for of his?
I just auditioned for Justice League.
Really?
Yes.
What were you? What part?
Well, you don't know because
Of
you're
course,
you're just doing this generic thing.
monologue.
I mean,
yeah.
I assume I was going in for Cyborg.
Sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, a lot of these big Hollywood films do casting calls in Australia, and it's essentially you're just spitting into the wind. Like
Right, yeah.
you don't honestly believe that you're even going to get anyone's going to see it or anything like that. Like it's just that's why you have powerful big agents and powerful big managers
Yeah.
and stuff, because their job is to get your tape in front of someone directly. That's
So I was going to ask you that later, but it's very much a case of it's who you know, and you just can't, like you said, spitting into the wind. Is that what
Yeah.
it is? Trying to.
I mean, look, I'm sure there have been people who've been plucked, like the Marilyn Monroe thing of, plucked from somewhere because of whatever.
yeah.
But more often than not, it's about, working and networking and getting the right representation and doing the right roles and getting seen by the right people.
Does that annoy you as opposed to just merit based, or you're like, well, this is
no,
part
I mean,
of it.
but I'm not saying that as that lacks merit. I mean, that's the job.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
But it's also there's no justice in the world. Like
Certainly not.
a friend of mine worked on a Brett Ratner movie, and he said that like it was grueling, and he said that at one stage one of the other actors, who was quite a well-known guy, pulled him aside and said, look, this is your first big Hollywood film. Let me just say to you, the best way to think about this is imagine the person you hate the most with the least amount of talent doing really well, and imagine the person you like the most with all the talent in the world doing really badly, and you'll be okay. You'll be okay in Hollywood.
Jesus.
Because it is one of those things where there's no rhyme or reason why. There's so many factors. Like I see, my wife's a director. I watch her watch audition tapes, and she literally will sit with her finger on fast forward because the person she has a very specific thing in her mind. So if that person comes in and they don't give her that from
Right.
the first 2 seconds when they walk in the door, she's on to the next person.
Right, yeah.
So there's a lot of I mean, there's a lot of things you learn. Like auditioning is not acting. Auditioning is a different skill. Like
Yes.
you've got to present something in an artificial environment that is
I've heard
going to.
it's brutal.
Well, I don't mind it, but it can be soul destroying.
Yeah.
Like it can be awful because you're sort of really going into this like a room not dissimilar to the man cave.
Oh yeah.
Really?
With,
Regular
with a
room,
group
yeah.
of people who don't seem to be interested in you or anything.
Yeah,
and,
like this, yeah.
and you're trying to make them like you, like this.
Yeah.
Am I auditioning for something?
Correct, yes. Mason, you're out.
Oh, yep.
Right, okay. So, but you obviously get a bit of traction because that's how, when you started getting pushed around by Amanda Sante, and you've worked your way up to this.
Yeah.
So every time you do something, is that like you get a little bit more on your
Yeah, I
resume?
think so,
you
like-
meet another person, you get better.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think some people, every actor's different. Some people come out of drama school and they land something straight away and,
Yeah.
and they're off to the races. But I'd say more often than not, like back in my day, like I see, I think a lot of young actors now, you see the Hemsworth path.
Yeah.
So a lot of young actors are like, I just want to get on Home and Away or Neighbours or something like that, do my time, and then I'm straight over to Hollywood, which I
Right.
think can work. But I also think there is something to be said for taking a bit more time and getting the runs on the board here, because I will go over to LA and I will talk to managers and agents over there, Americans, like, oh, we met this young guy who said he was on Home and Away, and then the guy had done like 3 weeks, but he's
Right,
now
okay,
in
yeah.
LA trying to get started. And I think that, look, it's great to have that ambition and stuff, but that is a huge fucking machine over there that if you are not ready, if you haven't like slowly acclimatized to
Yeah,
the
right.
rejection,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
it's going to really hurt when you get over there, because that's not a pleasant place to be when you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like you want to, I think I have been beaten down by years and years of rejection to the point where I don't really feel it anymore.
Right, yeah.
And so my skin's a bit thicker.
It's almost expected. Like you're
Well,
like, this would be nice, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things where I like I said, everyone's different, and I'm not saying you have to do it this way, but I think that the more time you can work on it and get used to not just the actual job. I mean, I'm leaving the job aside here, what you have to do for a living, but the actual environment you're in, because it's completely bizarre and artificial, and if you tie your self-esteem into it, you'll want to blow your brains out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why a lot of actors, become drug addicts, or child actors have terrible lives when they get older, because the actual world of it is very strange and artificial.
right.
And then when you're back in the real world, like for instance, child actors, the dynamic with a child actor is an actor is treated very well on set, because ultimately they have to deliver the goods. So, they're picked up from their accommodation and they're, taken into makeup, and they're brought food and they're brought drinks, and someone holds an umbrella over their head if the sun's out. Like, you're really mollycoddled because
Yeah.
by the time you get that person in front of a camera, you want them thinking about nothing else but delivering, what they have to do at the moment. So I understand that philosophy. Good actors and good people understand that that's not real. That's just for that time frame, they're being treated like that, but that's not because they're better than anyone else.
Right. Yeah.
But you put a child into that equation and suddenly you're inverting the natural order of things. All of a sudden adults are running around after them, picking up things for them and making sure they're okay.
It's not good for kids, man. Like having worked a lot with kids, you have to, for lack of a better word, you got to beat them down a bit.
Yeah.
So like just
what? Hang on. Sorry.
Yeah, you got to hit them a lot. I mean, you have to.
Finally, we've got him. Move in.
Like they have, a lot of kids have an ego that I could understand how they could get out of check, and then you grow into Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
When you're in that environment like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Not beat down, just so we're clear. I want to make that.
It's a metaphor.
I left teaching voluntarily.
Yeah.
So-
Well, no, it's just that thing of you need to have a grasp. Like I've seen parents be really good with their kids who are actors because they will treat it like a job. The kid still has to do their tutor hours.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get to hang out with, the cast on weekends and stuff. They have to be a kid, They can come to work and they can treat it like a paper round essentially.
Right.
But they don't get to, they're not going to be doing all the interviews and because it is confusing. People start treating you differently and if you're 15 years old and you're on a show like Home and Away and all of a sudden like girls are paying more attention to you or, people are probably letting you into the pub, all this kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of things of pitfalls and you've just got to have like a really good support network. I'm not saying, if I had a kid who wanted to be an actor, I'd be like, fuck. But if they really wanted to do it, I would set in some fairly stringent things in place because you just don't want them feeling like the world can't be a performance. Like you can't sort of walk into a bank or something and perform. Like the real world doesn't want to hear your shit.
No,
like,
that's right.
Like
unless you have a podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, It sounds insane.
Yeah.
Like, but you obviously love it. Like, there's obviously upsides to it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, of course, it's like any job, but it's just one of those things where it's like the glamour that some people think of when they think of that is undersells how much the grind goes on as well.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's sort of, I mean, I haven't worked my entire career. It's not like, from the time I started acting, I've just been gainfully employed. There's been times where I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent.
Yeah.
And there's definitely been times where I'm like, maybe I should just give this away. Like before Home and Away came along, I hadn't really worked for about 5 years.
What were you going to do?
Well, I was producing.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, maybe I had a pretty good...
You did some short films as well with Jenna and that as well.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I had a pretty good run. Like, maybe I'm 35 now. Maybe that's me done. And then Home and Away came along. It's like, okay, I'll just give it one more shot.
Yeah.
And found out that I liked it again. But for me, the secret is to always have stuff outside of acting, whether it's a job or whatever, but or a family or a life, but you can't make it because too many actors tie their self-esteem into whether or not they're working or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fraught with danger. I mean, I'd say that with any job, really.
Because it's so sporadic, like you said.
Sporadic.
It's not like 9 to 5.
And it's mostly rejection.
Yeah.
Like you're more often than not. Like I'll tell you a little story that I guess I can tell now because I'm not on the show anymore. But
Weekly Planet exclusive. Continue.
When I was on Home and Away, I was up in the production office one day and I saw a DVD on a desk that was all the recalls for the character that I ended up getting, the role I ended up getting.
Right.
So I nicked it.
That's great.
And I took it to my dressing room and I put it on and I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to see me just blow away all these fucking other lame-o actors, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So there's 8 dudes on this tape, but they were all great. Like every one of them, any one of them could have got the job. Like they were all excellent. There was no rhyme or reason why there's obviously a rhyme or reason. The producers, the directors, whoever decided that for whatever reason, I was the guy.
Yeah.
But there was no obvious reason why it should have been me. All those guys did great jobs. They all looked good. They all could have played, they all did something different. It's just, and so that's the thing you've got to let go of as an actor is like...
So was that a moment for you like, this is completely random almost?
100%. Yeah. That and also watching, like I said, watching my wife cast things. It's like, you can't go into it going, as long as I do an excellent job, everything will be fine because that's not how it works.
Right, yeah.
They're not going to cast you because they've already cast a guy who looks a bit like you and I think will be too confusing. They're not going to cast you because, they the girl they've just cast is really tall and you're going to look short next to. Like, there's things you cannot control. But if you just think, well, as long as I do all the classes and I'm just an awesome actor and I'm really great in the room, of course that's going to help. But ultimately, you have no power.
Jesus.
And that's what, and that's what you've got to, and that's what you've got to come to reconcile. I think as an actor is you are the lowest. You're an essential creative element, but you are the lowest rung creatively because
And replaceable. Like there's 1,000 of you.
Ultimately, someone else tells you what to say, what to wear, how your hair should look. You know, very few actors like Will Smith and Russell Crowe, and I guess a few others, have Tom Cruise have involvement and they produce as well. But that's why I think a lot of actors now do get into producing. Like Margot Robbie's producing the new Harley Quinn because as soon as you get a little bit of power, you're like, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to be the one who's like not getting hired because I'm too short or too tall or too fat or too skinny or whatever it is.
And that's the idea as well behind this movie, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I originally wrote one of the parts for myself, but I've subsequently gotten too old to play.
Oh, right. You can't play a teenage girl?
No, not anymore.
So you're not going to be in it, or
no?
What can you talk about it, or you're like, oh, somebody could steal this?
I can't read. I don't know if I can talk about it. I mean,
shooting in January.
I can give you the synopsis. It's set in Australia. All right, here's the pitch. Here's my elevator pitch.
I'm ready.
It's basically Winter's Bone meets Children of Men.
Gotcha.
So it's set in Australia after a series of environmental disasters has meant a lot of Australians have been forced inland because of flooding and the cities are becoming sort of uninhabitable. But it's mainly middle-class Australians have been forced into these refugee camps. So there is a girl in there who's with her brother and their mother goes missing and then they get separated by DOCS, Children's Services. So she goes looking for her brother. She goes on this mission, but she gets sidetracked by this gang of guys and then ends up on this mountain with this dude, this loner, this person who's had no contact with the world for like 15 years. And he seems like scary at first, but who knows? Maybe this odd couple. So it's sort of like a coming of age genre. I mean, it's hard to sort of classify it, but Children of Men meets Winter's Bone is kind of...
And maybe January start?
Maybe, I think we're going in for funding in September, which means if we're all going to plan, January we should be shooting. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then I can be back on this show.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Well, should we wrap up the TV movie talk thing, what we were doing, the topic? Here?
Yeah.
Should we go to the next thing?
Some are good, some are bad.
Yeah. Does anyone got anything to add before we move on? I got some more acting questions as well for later, if that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Be fun if you're like,
we've turned into the inside the actor's studio.
That's right.
All of a sudden.
That's great though.
Are you going to ask me what my favourite swear word is? Because it's no.
Because we don't. I mean, we're too regular. We don't.
We're just a
move
couple
in
of
these
Joe
circles.
lunch pails.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is
just a couple of regular dudes.
That's fascinating to me. Like we speculate about like a bunch of stuff, but we don't actually know.
I'm only speaking for myself.
Of course,
I'm sure every actor's perception is different, and there's probably people listening to this right now going, "What a fucking wanker," blah blah blah. Fuck you guys. But I mean, that's been my experience. Like I've had friends who've had completely different careers to me, much more successful and not as successful. But I would say we generally all have the same viewpoint,
right?
On it, yeah.
Crazy. All right. Well, Mason, that's fine. It's time for what is that what we're doing? Yeah.
That's
what
the
we
next
reading?
segment.
What we gonna
What
read?
we gonna read?
I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? Mason, do you have a what are we reading?
Rick and Morty's back.
I know it is.
How good is it?
I love it.
Good.
So good. I've had people comment on the internet and be like, nah, not as good. This meh. No, it's exactly as
Seems
good.
the
It's
same.
exactly as great.
Good. It's like having Mr. B.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what do you want? It's they're
What
they're
do
on,
they want?
They're on a Mad Max Fury Road post-apocalyptic
it's the
future.
Internet. Everyone hates
Yeah.
everything. Like Jesus himself could come down and someone would be like, oh God, here we come, Son of God, boring.
Boring. Do something new.
Yeah.
But at the same time, don't do something new because it's not the same as what you did last time. No, they're never happy, these
But
people.
also the first episode from this season, which was they streamed like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
Like the breakout one. Like I would say this one is not as strong as the first one, but it's still a really
I
good
thought it was,
start.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
So is it only the first 2 eps?
First two, yeah.
Yeah. And you said they're on Netflix.
They're on
as well, which I
Netflix, so you
didn't
don't
know,
have to steal it off the internet.
Yeah, so explain, the second episode's not on Netflix
Yes,
yet.
it is, yeah.
Oh, it's just come out then?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I was checking Netflix on Friday, I couldn't see it.
No, it's there.
Oh,
It's
shut
there.
up.
Yeah, that's right. I've looked at Netflix.
Well, I've also watched Netflix, Mason. I watched
Hello.
Voltron Legendary Defenders Season 3. Only 7 episodes because they seem like they've split it into 2.
Yep.
It's great. I love it. I'm a big Voltron fan. Well, not really. It's not great, is it? In hindsight. But the new season's really good.
It is really
You're
good,
Voltron kid in the 80s.
Yeah, I was a line Voltron, not a car Voltron.
Like this dickhead who liked car Voltron.
I like
no
them
one
both.
likes car
Oh,
Voltron.
come on, guys.
So the cars go together and they make like a block. Like each of them, the land in the air and the sea
How many
team
cars
make
do
a
you need
block.
to make a Voltron?
Yeah, man.
Like 15 or something?
Yeah, right.
I know the feet were cars. That was cool.
Feet with cars,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like he had little skates on.
Hang on, so this is the new... Is this a new Voltron or
Yeah.
the one that came out last year?
It's a reboot. It's got who's the guy from
Because I watched one that was quite good, an
Yeah.
animated one.
the guy who did the people who did Avatar: The Last Airbender do
Right.
it, and it's really solid. Yeah,
And it's funny, too. You
and
wouldn't
it's
think
fun.
it would be funny.
What's his name from
Rhys
Flight of the
Darby. It's got Rhys Darby
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
and no, it's definitely well worth it. Also, just quickly, we did our caravan of garbage this week for Tuesday. Is on the only Voltron game.
Yeah.
And it's fine, and then it's the worst thing ever. So
What kind
operates
what
in
era are we
stages.
talking?
it's
PS3?
like 4 years ago.
Oh my god, it's
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, what's
Wow.
new? Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
no.
But it's based on the old one. Like, yeah, anyway.
And look, without giving too much away, we're like, this is fine, but it'll be great when you're Voltron. It's not.
No.
It's not. It's real
what
bad.
about you, Charlie? You've been watching, reading, doing stuff?
I've been keeping up with Saga.
Right,
Oh, yeah, great.
I'm way behind, yeah.
Because I wait till they release the collected volumes and
Right,
then
yep.
I buy it on Comixology. So I love it. I just think like I try and describe it to people, especially non-comic book readers, even people who read comic books, and it's impossible to categorize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Like, I mean, how would you guys are more comic literate than me. How would you describe it to people?
I'd say it's like Star Wars, but it's more blood and gore and stuff. I
And
guess.
weird
But that
sex?
doesn't
Yeah,
even,
we'd
exactly.
say-
And
That,
there's,
that
you know,
doesn't do it, but I think that would get somebody in to be like, if you like Star Wars, this is like extreme Star Wars.
Yeah.
But,
But-
it's
but
not
that's the
that.
thing.
Fun, but it's also funny.
Yes,
it's
it is,
really
yeah.
But you can't, if you say it's like Star Wars, but it's more violent, that's too broad. But if you go more specific, you'd be like, but there's also a
There's
weird
ghosts
soap
and-
opera where,
Yeah.
like a virtual reality soap opera, people be like, well, that doesn't jive with,
Yeah.
it's an epic, why is there a soap opera happening at the same time?
I mean,
kind of?
sometimes I read comic books. Like, if I'm ever recommended a new comic book, I read it to go, is this a pitch for a movie? Like, is this,
Yeah,
is
right.
Because
Mark
I know,
Millar does a lot of that.
or
yeah.
a lot of, I mean, that's
Yeah.
the way. I know Greg McLean, like for a long time, he was turning screenplays into comic books because he was told that is the best way to get people across your
Right.
material. Is like, well, you're essentially storyboarding your film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
right.
you're also creating a universe, you're creating a brand, and everyone's
Yeah.
into brands. But because I thought, well, when I was reading Saga, I'm like, oh man, this would be an amazing film. And then I'm like, it's actually unfilmable.
Could it?
You
Yeah.
could not
That's
do it.
exactly right.
It could
yeah.
be a TV show in 10 years.
Oh, sorry, maybe, or a TV show.
Yeah.
But I think tonally, it's so all over the shop.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know how you'd execute a live action version.
I think with technology, you could give it a red hot go, but not now. I think movie, definitely not. I don't think you could compress enough of it into it.
Yeah.
And it probably wouldn't make any
But you
money.
think there's genres, the way it shifts from like violent
Yeah.
Paul Verhoeven action to kind of screwball comedy to kind of
Yeah.
cutesy.
But TV is...
I mean, I've got to admit, I'm not enjoying seeing Hazel grow up.
Right,
Like the
sure,
older-
yeah, yeah.
I'm way out of the loop.
Oh, right, yeah. Hazel's like 7 years old now or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't care
Yeah.
about kids. I don't want to know her story.
Hmm.
I liked it better when she was just a voiceless narrator, a faceless narrator.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel it might become, and I haven't seen it yet, but Valerian. You know,
Right,
it's this
yeah.
enormous space universe, and it's been going for years, and people love it. But what is that?
Is that
what
the
is the
film, the Luc Besson?
yeah?
That's still going.
the comic book.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but I
So
think it's
the movie's based on the comic book?
yes, yeah.
Ah.
So it's not an original property at all.
I was asked to use my social media profile to endorse that film, like sponsored posts and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, cool, all right, sure, yeah, I can do that.
Can I
And
see
then-
it first?
Well,
You asked-
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, and we want you to also have a chat with Luc Besson, and I'm like, why? Like, what? This
What do
would
they
seem
think-
insane and contrived.
Yeah,
'Cause
right.
Suddenly it's like, hey guys, just
Chat
saw-
with him on Twitter.
Well, they wanted some video content. I don't know if it was like, you know, an interview or just like, hey, it's me and Luc Besson, you know,
Right.
on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Really?
We're on a speedboat, guys. Which is-
Yeah, but I'm like, that's going to feel so weird and contrived, particularly to people who do follow my social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm hanging out with Luc Besson. Like,
yeah, right.
I don't hang out with Luc Besson.
So did you say no? Or were you like, maybe
well,
this is a
kind
good-
of like when I started asking questions, I think they were like, this is getting too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We don't want to go ask
The
questions.
offer's rescinded, yeah.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of people who would do that. Like
Yeah.
us, probably.
Yeah. I'm not
If I'm, on
ag-
if I'm on a speedboat with Luc Besson, I'll
I'm
do
not
it.
against selling out at all.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, at least let me know what I'm
Nice
selling
watch,
out.
by the way, Charlie. But Yeah,
There's
well,
that. I
that's
should check
bizarre.
that. I should check that out. Though maybe it's good. I don't know.
Well, I've heard some people.
I've
love
heard some
it,
good
yeah.
things. Also, Atomic Blonde, which I've heard is.
Primo.
I've heard it's a fascinating, it's good action sequences and it's a fascinating premise, but the movie itself is kind of boring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a
there you go.
shame.
Yeah.
I don't love the cast either. I'm like
You
these
don't
guys.
like James McAvoy?
No, it's not him. It's Dane DeHaan.
No,
Oh, so
we're-
you're talking about Valerian. I thought
We're
you
still
were
talking about
Atomic
Valerian.
Blonde.
We've switched to Atomic
We were
Blonde.
Oh, we
Atomic
have
Blonde.
two.
Yeah.
Sorry, where was I?
Keep up.
I should keep up. I'm on this show all the time.
Yep.
Okay, so James McAvoy's it. It's
Yeah,
Soviet
Atomic
Russia. Is that right?
Yeah, in the 80s, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Which is a fascinating era, I feel. Like,
Yeah.
we haven't seen like late 80s, early 90s Russia since like GoldenEye, I feel.
Yeah.
And that's a fascinatingly weird universe, which
The Hunt for
I'm
Red
the, I'm,
October.
I'm, I'm a fan of Charlize Theron beating dudes up because I think of the film heroines, she seems genuinely like she could do it. She seems
right.
quite athletic and
Yeah.
strong.
yeah. Mm.
Fury Road.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, that
Fast and
fight
Furious.
sequence in Fury Road's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's
With
nuts,
the car door.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's borderline like slapstick comedy.
It
It's
is.
So great.
It really is. Yeah. Should we move on to the next segment?
Oh, actually,
Mason?
before we do a quick plug
Should
for
we
me,
move on to the big
no,
segment?
because of plugs.
Okay.
I was on two. I did the double this week. I was on Beer Hour with Your Mates, guys, the podcast. With my
I'm
friend
familiar
Murphy.
with that, yeah.
I was on that, and it was also on It's a Duck Blue, where we discussed the 100th episode of DuckTales.
the final episode
The
of DuckTales.
100th and final episode. Yeah,
Made it
so-
to 100, guys.
that's right. Yeah. What a milestone. Anyway, they're on the iTunes. Check those
I'll
out
link
because
those
they're
below as well.
good eps. I had a really good time on both of those.
Fantastic.
I mean, sure, one podcast made me dinner and one podcast didn't, but that's. So I'm not playing favourites.
No, why would you? You're a fair
Duck
man.
Blue made me dinner. Sarah made me dinner.
Yeah, they're good like that.
Yeah.
All right, do the theme
Oh
song.
yeah, we got another segment.
Get to see this live, Charlie.
It's called Letters.
This is amazing.
Classic one was letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away. You know they're here right now. We're gonna do letters.
I always assumed that was pre-recorded. You
No,
just
no,
dropped
no.
it
We
in.
do this every
Every
week. Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
All right.
I would not stand for an editing procedure that made me sound like an idiot. I'd rather a real life process that makes me definitely be an idiot.
It's funny. I mean, I know it's not you singing,
Right.
but in the theater of my mind,
It's me
I
singing.
know it's you singing.
I
It's
bring
like
out a
you
little
couldn't-
ukulele and I'm like, okay, guys, just going to tune up. Pring,
Well, it's
here we
always
go.
like whenever there's a TV show with a theme, people always assume the person in the show, like with Growing Pains, it's like, oh, that's Alan Thicke singing that song.
Yeah,
And
right.
Baywatch, it's David Hasselhoff. It's like, no.
No.
Like it's a musician's doing it.
He
and
could
they're just
do
doing
it,
their
but it's-
job.
He could do it if he wanted, yeah.
All right,
It's because we've been ruined by Dennis Waterman doing the theme to Minder.
That's probably
that's
true.
why.
Jesus.
So that's a
The
deep
Weekly
cut
Planet,
for
for
our.
all your Minder references.
Yeah, that's a deep cut for the American listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to reach the show, you can hashtag weeklyplanetpod on Twitter. We'll find a couple of them there. Or email us at weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com, where Mason goes through it and he's like, nah, this one's shit. And then he picks a better one.
That's
Is that
right. Yeah, in fact, I've got a very special letter this week.
I'm
This
excited.
this is from my friend Ralph. Ralph from Cake Boss.
Yeah.
Who was a very big booster of the show in the early years. We got a whole bunch of listeners. Where'd they come from? Ralph is boosting us up on Twitter.
Ralph Spambots.
Was
that
he?
pays for.
Was he what broke you? Was he the Brian Epstein who broke you in the US?
He may very well
May
be.
well
The
have
Ed
been,
Sullivan
yeah.
show.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all Twitter now. So anyway, this Ralph sent us a letter. He's spearheading a fundraiser for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which ends August the 9th, which is pretty soon. He has set a $25,000 goal. They're about halfway there.
Sweet.
And at the end of it, himself and the Cake Boss himself are going to shave their friend Danny's mustache for the first time in 30 years. So they're doing it on a live stream from the Make-A-Wish headquarters. And if you want to donate as little as $5, you can go to wish.org/DannyShaves. And they're going to bloody... Yeah.
Be careful Googling Danny Shay.
Yeah, it's now that I think
Just
about
be
it.
careful.
Yeah. Did you know the Cake Boss guys have worked with 100 Make-A-Wish kids?
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And why wouldn't you? You go to a bloody
Get a
cake
cake
shop. We
shop,
get a cake
yeah.
where they're making a bloody
Spider-Man is swinging on a
Spider-Man
thing.
cake.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
And
good
it's-
stuff.
Yeah. And it's like they're actual sculptures, and then there's a cake in them. That's art, my friends.
That's
Art
and
you can
cakes.
eat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
More art
exactly.
you can eat, that's what I
Yeah,
say. Why can I eat the Mona Lisa?
Yeah.
What a waste of art.
You could eat it if you wanted. Maybe not the frame, but you could probably eat the canvas.
Yeah, you could eat it on a dare, probably.
I used to want to eat books a lot. I used to like really. I used to like have this thing about books. I love the smell of books, and as a kid, I'd often like try and bite through the pages. Like if you
Wow.
went to my bedroom as a kid and went through like the Narnia Chronicles or whatever, you'd find little teeth marks like around the books.
And then one day you're on the set of Home and Away, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm in the diner.
chewing on my script.
give me some books, and they're like, what? And you're like, oh, this isn't normal, is it?
So that's how you don't remember lines. You ingest
the
them.
lines.
So, isn't that the way all actors do it?
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, you're an actor, probably.
So anyway, if anyone who wants to
Yeah.
help out our buddy Ralph, yeah.
See how weird a guy would look without a moustache.
I know, right? Yeah. So they're nearly there. I reckon we can push them over the line.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is from Ernie on Twitter. #WeeklyPlanetPod. Last week's pod, talking about The Dark Knight with Will Anderson, your friend from TOFOP, the podcast you also do. People should also check that out. Got me thinking about what's your favourite intro for a film. So The Dark Knight famously has the Heath Ledger. Why am I explaining it? Literally everybody who is in this room and who's listening to this knows what I'm talking about. Do you guys have like a favourite opening for a film?
Ooh.
I do like the Mad Max car crash. You mentioned Mad Max before.
From the first one, through the caravan.
No, the Fury Road one, sorry.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty. Yeah, that's good. That's like a set of world record, I think, for rolls.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a hard question. I mean, there's so many like amazing openings in films.
Let's just leave it at that then.
Yep. Jaws, I guess, is pretty good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, let's go for a nudie swim, and then what the fuck's happening?
Yep.
That's that's good.
Yeah.
You can't beat the opening of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big thing flying over the screen.
Phantom Menace. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like any kind of tentpole movie that kind of moves things forward have like this amazing opening sequence.
Set piece. We
Yeah.
call it in the biz.
That's
nice.
what you call
Set
it?
Yeah.
piece.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I love the opening scene of Ghostbusters where, well, it's technically the second scene, but where they go to the library and they encounter the ghostly librarian and they're like, get her.
Yeah,
like, that's their whole plan. It's just like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the Pirates films, but the first Pirates of the Caribbean, it's not the opening scene, but is the best character introduction, which is when you meet Captain Jack Sparrow and it's this like heroic, glorious shot of him gliding across in front of like the sky. And then as the camera pulls out, you realize he's standing on a sinking ship.
Yeah, right.
And just as the boat sinks, he steps off and just gets onto a pier, and it tells you everything you need to know about that character in one shot.
Yeah. Did you see the new one?
No, I told you. No, I checked that out after the. What's the one with the squid face guy?
2 or 3.
That
Two and
literally
three.
made me want to vomit.
Yeah,
like it was unbearable.
It's so long.
I have a phobia. There's a name for it, but and it's a common phobia. Lots of holes together.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
if
sure,
you,
yeah.
like if Google hole phobia. Lots of holes together. It's called something. It's like if there's certain
that gonna
fruit
come
that
up
if you
with?
slice it,
Yeah, you
it
can
looks
see a
like
whole
lots
bunch
of holes. And apparently it's related to like it's a caveman thing where we get taught to recognize rotting flesh by lots of holes. Because my wife used to think I was making it up, but then I found this fucking thing online, which is like, this is a real phobia people have.
Trypophobia?
That must be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what's the
what about
definition?
like a spaghetti strainer thing? Or is it like something natural?
If it's organic,
Yeah.
it makes me feel gross. Like sponges, sea sponges, gross me out a bit. Certain plants gross me out.
Okay. It's just a fear of holes, and their reaction is so severe that they can cause panic attacks.
No, I'm not that bad.
Not that bad.
No, but squid.
Well, we'll see, because we've got some real weird stuff out here. We're going to parade some things in.
But squid face in Pirates of the Caribbean, whoever that was, like it was just constant twitching holes.
Yeah,
it was
right,
like
yeah.
slimy, flipping, twitching holes. It was like I'm watching open heart surgery or something.
It's called hot sweats, panic attacks, migraines, increased heart rate. Jesus. Wow.
Hey, speaking of, because we talked.
I'm Superman. I just told you that kryptonite's
No, yeah, that's right.
That's like in the next negotiation we have on Planet Broadcasting.
What's your Twitter handle?
CX Clausen.
Maybe people could send you some stuff as well.
You son of a bitch.
So we talked about Batman last week.
Yeah.
This is I only mention this because when we get a Gmail, Gmail gives us some like pre-made options you can just send back to somebody. Like it just generates
It's like,
automatic
sure
responses.
thing.
Yeah.
So Stephen Strickland has emailed and he said something about the Dark Knight trilogy always bothered me. That Blake, who's played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, strolls into Wayne Manor and tells Bruce that he knows Bruce is Batman because they're both orphans and you can see it in his smile or in his face or what have you. And it just says, seems like a bit of a stretch. Thoughts? And just one of these automated responses says, I'm down for whatever.
Can you send that back?
I will, yeah.
Can I ask you guys? I heard you talking with Will about the Dark Knight, and
Yeah.
there is
Yeah.
something that has always like bothered me that I've never quite understood a plot point in that.
Yep.
Why
was it necessary for Commissioner Gordon to fake his own death to then be the guy driving the truck to draw the Joker out? Like, I don't understand.
Right, yeah.
Why did... I mean, if the whole point was to draw the Joker out, all that needed to happen was Harvey Dent comes out and says, I'm the Batman.
Yep.
That's going to draw the Joker out. You could still have that same truck sequence. But why all this palaver? I mean, surely that was city funds that was going into paying for that state funeral.
His
That's
family,
right,
his
yeah.
family thought he was dead.
Yeah, like why did he have to be off the radar?
Probably just wants a couple of days off from his bloody wife and kids. Am I right? All right, everybody.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what's up.
I mean,
as a father,
yeah. God, I ran into another father at the park the other day.
Oh,
the
that must
worst.
suck.
The worst.
I'm staying with friends in Melbourne at the moment, and the husband's away, and the wife is minding their little daughter. And I was heading out, and I said, "What are you doing today?" And she's like, "Ugh." She's having a play date. And I was like, what do you mean? She's going, well, you know, she's made friends at her kindergarten. So now one of the parents is coming around. We're going to have to hang out while our kids play. It sucks.
God,
I never thought of that. It's like, oh, you're going to make friends with the kid's parents.
It's coming up, man.
I don't even want to be friends with the kid. Let alone his parents.
That's right. And look, they're not, like, the guy was nice. He's like, how old is he? I'm like,
shut up.
neither of us give a fuck.
You just
Come
threw
on.
your coffee in his face.
Yeah. But it's, look, I understand it, but it's just not. I shouldn't discourage people from making friends in the park.
Yeah.
But seriously,
Be
leave
nice to
me
each other.
alone. Last question. This is from Touch E Delph. Touche Delph. Dunno. Are huntsman spiders, this is an Australian question. Are huntsman spiders a legitimate problem in Australia? How do you deal? Need answers.
What?
Huntsman spiders. in
Yeah, so
Australia.
are you saying he is Australian or
No, he's not.
Why is he asking this question? Is
I
it
guess
been
because
something in the
people
news?
see huntsmans,
Right.
Because they're big and scary and hairy and
I
whatever.
think they're quite placid.
Yeah,
I
they're not-
understand
they're not-
huntsmen.
They're not poisonous, yeah.
I never kill spiders. I don't like
Yeah.
spiders. They creep me out a
I'll
bit.
smash a spider to
Will
bits.
you?
Oh yeah.
No.
I won't destroy anything I can't create myself. So I'll kill a child, but I won't kill a
I
spider.
had a traumatic occurrence with a spider once in the flat I was living in St Kilda. There was a big huntsman on the glass, and because it was a glass window, I could see its underbelly, and it's
Yeah,
kind
right.
of grossing me out a bit.
Yeah,
No
it's
good.
got some holes there you don't want to deal
with
with.
the plastic, because what I like to do is trap and release.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I went out with this container, but at the last minute, the spider made a run for it, and I bisected it, like literally
Yeah.
cut it in half. So the top 4 legs were still hanging onto the glass and shaking as guts, and it was horrifying. Like it was like I was screaming. It was the worst thing I'd ever seen. And then like a couple of days later,
you leave it?
I cleaned it off. A couple of days later, I walk out into the balcony again, and I walk straight into a spider web, and I'm like, this is a message.
Yeah.
Like they're sending me a message,
Yeah,
because I
right.
firmly believe that spiders, they talk. They know if you kill one of theirs, they're coming for one
Coming
of
that's
yours.
right.
after you.
Yeah.
There's always a spider web on the way to my bins. And I always walk into it. Every time I'm like,
Yeah.
then you have to come inside and check yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate spiders, but I don't want them on me.
No,
You
I
know
got a
what I mean?
scar on my arm from a spider bite I got as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of faded now.
Do you know what it was?
No, I just remember being at school one day and looking at my arm and it was swollen. There's this giant like eggy on my
Yeah.
arm. And it was like, oh yeah, I went to the nurse and they said it was a spider bite. So maybe that instilled in me a fucking distrust of, you know what? It's like the Predator. You know that in Predator 2 where Gary Busey is like talking about the Predator, what an amazing killer it is, and Danny Glover's like, my God, you admire him. He's like, for what it is, not for what it does.
Right.
Like I admire spiders,
Absolutely.
but I fucking don't want to be friends with one.
Don't want to shake any of their 8 hands. Don't approach him at the park if you're a spider. Leave him alone.
I'll throw
Yeah.
my coffee right in your face.
That's it.
Hey, here's one more question just before we get going.
Let's do it.
Paul Spooner wants to know, with the Skrulls appearing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which character would you like to see revealed as having been a Skrull all along?
I just did a video on this, Mason. It's up right now.
That's very convenient.
I think
we didn't plan that. But
No.
Yeah.
What's a Skrull?
It's like a...
Get out. We're deleting this episode, James. It's all gone. That's my one requirement. You got to know what a Skrull is. So in the Marvel comic book universe, the Skrulls are like shapeshifters.
Right.
They're like green with that weird
Chin? It's a,
bum
the
chin.
Thanos
sexual
chin.
And they got
chin.
they got the pointy ears and they can transform
that's right. They look like
into
goblin-y
anyone.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
yeah.
And so they can.
I know.
All right.
Jesus, I didn't know they're called Skrulls, all right?
I was heating up a coffee to throw in your face. Yeah. So basically, yeah, so they can be anybody. And in Captain Marvel, the movie's coming out, they're introducing them. And
Right.
that movie's set in the 90s, which means that anybody from at least that
Hang on,
point
Captain
forward,
Marvel's a woman.
Yes.
Captain Marvel's a woman.
Believe it. Well, there's a few Captain Marvels, but that particular one is also a DC Captain Marvel. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But you probably know this.
Can
But
you make a video about that? Because I honestly don't understand.
just
any
call
of
it
this.
Captain Marvel?
Like I read comics, but I have a very surfacey understanding of comics. Like I know comics and comic book characters and stuff, but when it gets into real depth, in-depth stuff, like you guys know so much. And I'm like, oh God.
Some of it we're making up. Nobody's been able to check.
It's kind of like Shakespeare. I don't know what you're saying. I follow it.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, me and Mason are different levels as well because he's like he knows more than me.
Do you guys know Justin Hamilton? Do you know?
I know Hamo. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Justin, obviously, really good mate of Will's, and he's like the most knowledgeable comic book guy I know. And like, I often will like call him for recommendations, but I'll also just call him with questions.
Right.
About like, why is this happening in this book that I'm reading right now? Like, these characters seem to have a lot of animosity. Has something happened?
Right.
Is that why Saga's good for you? Because it doesn't connect to anything else. It's a
I started from the first issue, but I can't think. I got into comic books. I think Batman was the first one I got into. I was very much a DC kind of guy. I hated Marvel when I was growing up because I liked cosmic.
Yeah, a lot of people get turned off by
fantasy stuff, but now I don't know. I don't know where I sort of sit. I don't really read DC or Marvel that much anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of more. Yeah, I'd probably be about.
I'm indie, man.
Indie's where it's at. Yeah, we're all indie guys. Yeah.
But who's a Skrull?
All right. I would probably like it to be. Somebody pointed this out on Twitter. There's a brief period of time at the end of the Avengers where Tony Stark goes into deep space.
Yes.
And then he comes back. What if they switched him?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if there was a switcheroo? Cool. Yeah, I think that would be good. And that would explain why he's been such an arsehole since then. I mean, he was an arsehole. He was an arsehole before that.
Justify
but more so.
The Ultron robots
exactly. Yeah.
I think they at least have to make one of the main Avengers, like him or a Captain America, one.
But then what? But then how does it become awkward with the whole Pepper Potts thing?
Well, it could
maybe. Wow, yeah.
I mean, Skrull the whole time.
Why is Pepper Potts back with him? Maybe she's a Skrull.
Right. Everyone's a Skrull.
Everyone's a Skrull.
You're a Skrull. I'm a Skrull.
We're all Skrulls. Yeah. But no, I think, and it also, you can get swapped out at any point. Someone could leave the room and you could swap them out. Like, it wouldn't have to be the whole time.
So, literally in scenes. You could go back George Lucas style and just like revamp every Marvel film and say Skrull.
Yeah, exactly right. Remember that one you didn't like, Skrull.
Yeah.
They could be like the Captain America we woke up is a Skrull. So the whole time he hasn't been him. Also, some Skrulls are so deep undercover that they don't know they're a Skrull until they're switched on.
Oh, they're like sleeper agents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's ludicrous.
Comics are a bit funny like that. Yeah. But that's a good question. I have some questions for you, Charlie, before we sign off, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Got some acting questions. You've answered a lot of them.
Right.
But I'm like, these are the kind of things where you don't get proper...
I feel like, by the way, that last rant I went on, I discouraged a lot of people. It's not a bad life. Like, it's fine.
No, absolutely not. I mean, if it's for you, it's for you.
Exactly.
I think that's like valuable information.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But what do we got here? So a lot of times, you see actors and they're like, it's all about the process and I'm getting into the world. I hate it all. Like, shut up. Like, I want like... Do you have an acting nemesis? Like someone you're like Roger Corser. Like Corser, sorry.
Yeah.
I know you did a short film together.
Yeah, he's a mate of mine.
like, is there like a guy where you're like, that guy? Like he's similar enough for me.
There was a period of time where Kick Gurry.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
I would go into...
He got you rolling garage days.
Yeah, I would go into auditions and Kick Gurry would be there and then he would always end up getting the role. But... no, I mean, the thing about acting too is you go through phases. Like the reason I didn't work a lot from, 30 to 35 is that I was suddenly at a weird age bracket where I was too old to be young guy, but not quite old enough to be dad or lawyer or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But now I'm starting to look older.
Nice.
And so they can cast me again. For girls, for actresses, it happens at a different age. Like you literally go from being the ingenue and then suddenly you're a mum. And there is no in between.
Yes.
Like that's it.
You're Jessica Alba and then your mum.
I mean, I did a pilot season in 2011 when I would have been like 33 or 34, and I was asked to audition for this show as a 19-year-old, and I was like, I have grey in my hair. I'm no Luke Perry. No one is going to.
So you just went, nah, I'm not doing it.
No, I did it.
Oh, you did? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I put the skateboard under my arm, put my cap on backwards.
That's right.
Hey, dudes, what's Facebooking?
Oh, that's awesome. So you recently did like a men's health thing.
Yeah.
You got super ripped
Super fit.
and abs. You got like real
abs,
person abs.
Yeah.
How do you get abs? What's that about?
It's all diet. That's what I learned, is that you can exercise as much as you want. It doesn't matter. It's what you eat. So I've got this personal trainer who's awesome, and she does body sculpting. Like that's her thing. She competes and stuff. And so she basically put me on this program, And it's kind of weird. You'd think that you'd want to eat less to lose weight, but you actually need to eat more. So she would send me this kind of like menus each week. So it was an 8-week process. I lost almost 10 kilos in 8 weeks. Let me just also say, this is not a healthy thing to do. This is not sustainable.
Oh, really?
It's not. This is purely aesthetic. This is not, it doesn't make you fitter or stronger or more flexible. It's purely for a look.
So you're lean is basically.
You get super lean. I mean, you're doing a lot of weights and a lot of cardio and stuff, but if you're doing fitness because you want to, like, you know, as you get older, have an active life, then you should probably look into more like movement training and this kind of stuff. This is for, you are doing this training because you're tapering to a photo shoot on a certain day. So literally everything you do is working to this one point, but either side of that one point,
doesn't matter.
it's impossible to maintain. It's really hard. So she just put me on this diet where I'd eat 5 meals a day, and there were sort of certain, like, you'd have to weigh each thing and measure it all out and all that kind of stuff.
It's that precise.
That precise. It's amazing. Actually,
And is it based on how big you are?
yeah, it's fascinating. I didn't actually realize, like, towards the end of it, when I started losing the weight, about a week out from the photo shoot, she said, well, you can start playing around now with carbohydrates and stuff and just see how that affects you. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And literally at that point, when you've sort of been on a very strict diet, when you start eating certain things, you wake up the next day and your body, it's like Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man. Like, you wake up and you're like, oh my God, like, you know, you've heard of carb loading. People carb load.
Yeah.
So if you've been like on a very lean kind of carb-free diet and then you eat a lot of carbs, you bulk up. You know, you wake up and your muscles
Your body's
are
just like,
oh my God, sugar, give me some of that stuff. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's amazing. And then you can sort of strip that right back down. You know, if you cut water, you know, generally you look. That's
Did you
why
do
when
all that, like,
when you
the day
wake up
before?
hungover, you generally look better when you look in the mirror because all your skin's tight. There's no fluid in your body.
I don't, but
it's
yeah.
unhealthy. Yeah. So I learned as actually it was. I mean, part of it was because I turned 40 recently, and I was like, fuck, I've always been kind of active, but I've never really challenged myself to do something sort of, you know, fitness based.
Yeah.
But the one thing I learned is that it's all diet, and it's completely changed the way I eat now, because I used to just eat whatever, but now I'm kind of like, it's not hard to make stuff that tastes good. You think eating healthy is boring, and like that's what we're taught, but it's actually,
You can do seasonings and all
what
sorts
is hard
You know, Mason.
is cooking all the time and making your own food.
Right, yeah.
Like I now do all the cooking for me and my wife. Like it's just easier. I'll go do the shopping. I know, and it's simple. Like all you really stick to is like vegetables and meats if you're not a vegetarian. Like that's the simplest way. If you imagine what you'd eat at a barbecue, not sausages, but like lean meats and salads and vegetables and stuff, then you're pretty much okay. It's just lots of sugar, like alcohol, all that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah.
And it's so easy to drink beer, and I love drinking beer.
Yeah.
But you know,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Why are we talking about this on this
I'm
show?
just
It's
curious.
so
Good
odd.
No, because
question,
I'm
yeah.
curious about abs. Because, you know, actors get abs.
Yeah.
Do you want me to edit that out, Mason? Do you disapprove?
No, I insist you keep it in. Delete everything else, just ab talk.
I got,
The weekly ab.
that's all right. Just really quickly,
Yes.
remembering lines.
I've got nowhere else to go. It's fine.
Yeah, do you
Maybe your audience does. Maybe they've already left.
That's all right. Do you just memorize them? Can you do them?
Yeah.
Can you have it on the day in front of you if
Yeah.
you need it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's thanks to Home and Away, because they move so fast. It's like muscle memory. You just get so used to learning lines.
Yeah.
That I can be given a script now and learn it pretty quickly.
Ah,
And
okay.
also too, when you read enough scripts, you start to recognize writing patterns.
Yeah, right.
And you can start to anticipate
where it's going to go
where
without.
it's going to
Yeah,
go,
okay,
and
right.
what the line's going to be. Like,
Have you ever-
we got company.
Yes.
Have you ever stuffed up a line and they've just gone, nah, it's fine. We'll just run it.
all the fucking time.
Okay, right.
Close
I'm always
enough.
stuffing up lines.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? As in, like, have I ad-libbed a new one, or just?
Or just you've just flubbed it.
Like said the
Yeah.
wrong word.
Okay.
I think
right.
so. Like often, like they won't even notice. I mean, that's
Right.
the fun. That's what I was saying about you are the lowest rung creatively. You may fucking spend like, you know, weeks and days poring over this scene and just wanting to nail it, and then you fucking flood the last line, and the director doesn't even notice.
Right.
Or it gets like, I remember doing a show where I had this big emotional scene, and I'm like, well, this is my Oscar clip. This is going to be fucking
Yeah, right.
amazing, you know. And then I saw it go to air, and as I'm doing my big emotional breakdown, they cut to the girl listening and her like
Oh,
nodding
right.
and listening, and I was like, where? And then they cut back to me as I'm drying my tears. As I finish it. I'm like,
You're like, I cried for real.
yeah, I cried for real, you man. I was pinching my thigh during that whole scene.
That's great. Last question. This
Yeah.
doesn't apply to you.
Okay.
All actors like tiny little people.
Generally, yes. The bigger you, if you're like over 6 foot, you're gonna look like a giant on camera.
Right. Yeah.
So
Because you're like what 5'11".
I'm 5'11". Yeah. I'm like Paul Ruddish, Luke Wilson. You know, those guys don't look too big or too small. They're just like normal people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got friends who are like 6'3", and when they're on camera, they look like the Incredible Hulk because actresses tend to be quite small,
Right.
as well. Ada, I think, was 5. She's like 5'2" or something.
Oh
like
shit!
that.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I looked like Hugh Jackman standing next to her. It was awesome.
Yeah.
He cast me next to the small people.
I've heard the Hollywood Pete told us this, a friend of ours. Actors a lot of times have tiny little bodies and big heads, like George Clooney. He's like a tiny little skinny body, but a big emotive head.
Yeah.
So-
Well, Gemma has a theory that the most photogenic people have round faces.
Right.
Because in terms of angles, like if you've got an angular face, when you turn your head, the light hits it differently and suddenly you're getting weird shapes. But if you've got a round face, nothing happens when you turn your head.
right.
You've got quite a round face.
Thank
You'd
you.
be good on camera. I think your dog just
an
farted.
egg.
Right. That is deadly.
Sorry, this
Yeah.
room doesn't smell good. Also, at the end of a podcast, generally. Yeah.
No, that's the dog. That's definitely the dog.
Where can people find you, Charlie? Though your podcast specifically.
TOFOP. If you've liked my ranting about the acting industry, we don't do any of that on our podcast. It's more like what you guys.
It's a couple of comedy dudes having a comedy conversation, wasn't it?
That's right. A couple of old mates having a comedy conversation.
Yeah.
You can find us at tofop.com. You can also find us on the Planet Broadcasting website.
Oh, hello.
Do, yeah.
Part of the stable, but we have some other shows that aren't part of Planet Broadcasting yet.
That's right.
If you're into the AFL, I'm sure you've got lots of AFL
many.
fans who listen to the Weekly
Huge
Planet.
fans.
We
the
have
world over.
we have an Aussie Rules podcast called Two Guys, One Cup. Be careful searching that. We Will has a podcast called Willosophy, which is kind of like Enough Rope. It's like almost serious, pretty serious.
Yeah, it's great.
Interesting. He does
It's
really
very
good long
interesting,
form conversations with people. And then Will's got FOFOP, which is essentially TOFOP, where he gets guest comedians in. People are a lot funnier than me.
Or sometimes a teacher and a tram driver.
Oh yeah,
Two
you
things.
guys,
Yeah, we've been on it.
Or not the latest one because he's been going crazy with the FOFOPs because he just did Montreal. So
Yeah.
when Will does comedy festivals, suddenly there's like we've been doing TOFOP since 2010. He's been doing FOFOP since 2012, but there's triple the amount of
Yeah,
episodes
exactly,
of
yeah.
FOFOP because he's always doing festivals and getting comedians on.
It's all good though. But I think TOFOP's a good gateway for people though, because there is, when you say it in the intro, or John Deek says in the intro, talk about Batman and time travel, and things you've been watching in movies and comics.
Well, the
and-
thing is, when we started TOFOP, like to do a podcast back then, you didn't need a hook.
Yeah,
It didn't
right.
need to be about anything. The fact that you were doing a podcast was reason enough to do a podcast.
Exactly, yeah.
And so now I get really nervous when people, I'm terrible at promoting our show. Like when people ask me, oh, how you do a podcast? What's it about? I start sweating. I don't know what to
Yeah,
say.
right.
because I don't know how to describe it. And I don't want to say it's a comedy conversation between two old mates.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what
That's
it is.
essentially what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You could solve some murders.
Yeah, we could.
That would work. That's hot right now.
Yeah, all right. True crime podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It is. Mason, do the end of the show.
Oh, look, you can find us at Weekly Planet Pod on Facebook and Gmail and Twitter and Bandcamp. I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
On Mr. Sunday Movies.
I'm at CX Clausen on Twitter, and you can find TOFOP at Facebook on Facebook.
And linked below.
Oh, yeah, we got some
yeah.
I'll throw it.
Throw it in the link.
Yeah.
He's
Uh,
I'm
let's see.
pointing down. No one can see that.
It's in Charlie's crotch. Yes. Let's see. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. We have an Amazon affiliate link in there if you want to find the Bill and Ted live action TV series on VHS, maybe.
Yes.
Just click through, go to regular Amazon, you pay the regular Amazon price, we get a kickback somehow. There's some teas on TeePublic. Thanks to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for all our themes. That's about it, I think.
That's everything. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Next week, something else.
So we'll do a different thing, probably.
Episode 200 is coming up. If people have got suggestions, we've already got something very special lined up. Claire accidentally booked 3 ads. So we're going to do 3 ads in our 200th episode.
Fantastic.
So that's the point where we really sell out. So we'll try not to make a habit of it. But if people got a suggestion for a particular topic, maybe we'll do an extra long one.
Yeah, extra long one.
Seeing as there are 3 ads. So throw them our way and we'll do them or we won't
Best
do them.
ads.
That's right.
Best ads we've done, and then we'll replay them. It'll be great.
That's it. Anyway, thanks again, Charlie.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks again, Mason.
Thank you.
Thank me.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you,
Can
Charlie.
you do, just because I'm a fan of the show and I'm here, can you do
Sure.
your famous catchphrase?
Do it, James.
What's my...
Good
Oh,
one.
You know.
Do
damn
it.
it, Charlie. Hey, who ate all my biscotti?
Yay! Oh,
God damn it, Charlie.
he's
God
done
damn
it. Thank you, sir. Grab
That's the
that.
only reason I came to hear that.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye. This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. I mean, if you want. It's up to you.